Hello there, thank you for joining us for another episode of Canada's Movie and TV Hosers. We appreciate everyone who checks in here to see this. I'm one of the hosts, Gregory Barrett, and with me is my other co-host, Christine.
Hi.
And who's our star of the show, Christine?
Fluffy Kitty, the Marvelous.
Yep. She's content right now.
Yeah.
She's been a bit angry this morning, but hopefully she'll calm down now.
Some angry outbursts at her sister.
Yeah, she's been growling a lot at Penny. Well,
and
so
hissing.
breaking down today's episode, I'm going to have the time codes down in the description down below, so you can always jump to a different chapter if you want, in case you don't want to be spoiled by something that we're talking about. We got a little bit of news we're going to go into, and then we're going to do some trailer reviews. We got a new Netflix preview trailer for July, so we'll tell you what our picks are for July of 2023. And then we got two trailers we're going to have a look at. First one is The Horror of Dolores Roach, which is from Amazon, so it's a new series. Then we just got a new trailer the other day for The Nun Part 2. Yeah. Then we're going to go into our reviews. We're going to review Joyride, which is new this weekend. I'm going to review the new Netflix documentary Arnold. Christine's going to review the next 3 episodes for Star Trek Strange New Worlds, episodes 2, 3, 4. We're going to review episode 3 for Secret Invasion on Disney+. Christine's going to talk about Glamorous on Netflix. We're both going to talk about Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken, that came out last weekend. We both saw that. We'll have some time for some more Star Trek, Chakotay's Odyssey, which we always enjoy. Got another big Bangin review coming up for season 7 of The Big Bang Theory. And then we're going to go back into the DCEU for part 11, Peacemaker series. Which, spoilers, it's great. Okay? If you enjoy any of this stuff, you can give us the thumbs up. Us and the fans would appreciate that. And all of our social media contact information is down in the description below, but we'll go into that near the end and when we get into some viewer comments. So jumping right into the news, Captain America 4, which currently is due out next year in July, next summer. Okay, so it was called Captain America New World Order. Well, they renamed it not too long ago. Oh. And it's called Brave New World now. But that's not the news. The news is that they just wrapped shooting on it. So principal photography. Because right now there is a looming strike with the Screen Actors Guild.
Okay.
Which first they said they're not going to strike, and now they say that they're getting ready to strike. It's all over. We don't know at this time, but they want to finish. They got finished shooting right before the original deadline was done, which was at the end of June. Sorry.
Okay.
So, okay, that's good news, but I think it's still going to get delayed with the writer's strike because they're going to have to do reshoots later on, and they're going to be writing dialogue in that and do pickups ADR. So I don't think it's going to come out in July 2024, but who knows? You excited for that movie?
I don't know.
We're getting Anthony Mackie as Sam Wilson Falcon Captain America. I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to any new Captain America, whether it be Sam Wilson or Bucky Barnes or someone else.
I mean, I love the Winter Soldier. The first one was awful. I couldn't even get through it. And then the Winter Soldier was fabulous.
I think if you go back and watched it now, you'd probably appreciate it a lot more.
I did watch it again afterwards. I got through the whole thing, but it still wasn't good.
You didn't like it? It wasn't for you?
Not the first one. But the Winter Soldier was really good. But I just kind of don't trust them at this point because they've made some. Because
they've had a lot of misses lately and they're in phase 4 with Marvel Studios.
I know, kind of getting confused about everything that's going on as well.
Okay. Well, I'll have to go back and watch all that Marvel stuff sometime then.
Kind of super saturated. But that's not saying I don't want to watch it, and I'm also enjoying watching Secret Invasion.
Okay, yeah, we're going to talk about that later on. I'm looking forward to Captain America 4. Anyone else out there looking forward to it? Are you excited to see Anthony Mackie as the new Captain America, which we already saw a little bit in Falcon and Winter Soldier, which is on Disney+, which is one of the good Disney Plus Marvel series for me. I enjoyed it. Some people also really enjoyed it. Anyway, let us know your thoughts on the upcoming Captain America Brave New World. I keep wanting to call it by the old title. Okay, next piece of news is from, I got a news article that I looked up. This was actually from a week ago from Screen Rant. And it was about, they cast new, and also I saw it on Game Rant. They cast DC Studios, so James Gunn and Peter Safran, the new co-heads of that studio. They cast a Superman and a Lois Lane already and announced it.
Okay, who are they?
So we got David Corenswet as new Superman, Clark Kent. I looked up his IMDb and I haven't seen this guy in anything.
So they found him.
Yeah, so they found him and he's a relatively unknown. The only thing I've seen that I might have seen was he was in one episode of House of Cards, but it was season 6 and I don't know if I got around to watching season 6.
I didn't watch. I gave up on House of Cards.
Yeah, I gave up on it after a few seasons.
You watched it longer than I did.
So I don't know this guy, but you know who they cast as Lois Lane. It's Rachel Brosnahan.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of her?
Yeah, Mrs. Maisel.
Yep.
Okay, well, she's not going to be playing Mrs. Maisel.
No, but do you think she could play a good Lois Lane?
Yeah, it depends on how they write Lois Lane. She could do whatever, but it depends on... She's going to be mouthy.
I don't know. I mean, Lois Lane is supposed to be a tough-as-nails investigative reporter who doesn't take any crap. Now, I haven't watched The Marvelous Ms. Maisel, but what I have seen of it, because I've seen scenes, you're always trying to get me to watch clips of it.
She can handle it.
So I think based on what I've seen of her in Marvelous Ms. Maisel, I think she'd do a great job. And I think she'll do a great job regardless of how they write it. But hopefully we get some good writing on it.
The show has to be good. That's the problem.
Yeah, the movie. They need to make this one good.
It's a movie. Okay, it's not a show.
It's a movie. So that's the first movie for their new DC universe.
Don't trust DC at all.
Yeah, I don't think anyone does because all of their last movies, like their last 5 movies, have all bombed, and that's why they're.
But some of them were good that bombed.
Yeah.
Some did well that were terrible.
Exactly, but that shows that people gave up on them, right? So if people aren't going to see them, it's because they gave up on them. And even when you get good ones, then people aren't going to see them. So they need to make this new Superman Legacy movie, which is supposed to come out in 2025. We'll see if that happens. So they need to make that one good. It probably won't make a lot of money because of the DC brand is in the crapper right now. But if they make a really good movie and then keep making good movies, it'll rehabilitate the brand. And then we'll get good DC movies. Now, I've enjoyed most of the DCEU movies and the show. So, but they've had a lot of misfires. And the reason why we're getting 4 DCEU movies this year in 2023, it's Shazam! Fury of the Gods, The Flash, Blue Beetle in August, and then we're getting Aquaman The Lost Kingdom in December, is because these are all put in production from the old regime at Warner Brothers. So they're just like, get them out, make what money we can, and then let's reboot and start fresh in a couple of years and make them good and bring in the budgets. Because the budgets on these things are ridiculous.
I think just a little bit of story editing would have gone a long way just to fix some of those movies up.
Yeah.
And they might have spent a lot of money on them, but some of them are just... they missed the mark.
It's not just DC that's been doing that. Warner Brothers, all the studios have been making movies that, like, their budgets are ridiculous. Fast X had a reported budget, I believe, of $340 million. How are you going to make? How is that going to be profitable? You'd have to make over $1 billion just for it to be profitable. That's ridiculous. If you're spending that much money, like, what are you doing?
I don't know the money side of it. I just know if it's a good movie or not.
Yeah.
I'm not into Fast and Furious, though. No comment on that.
But it's the same thing with Indiana Jones 5.
I haven't seen it yet.
That was like reportedly $300 million to make that movie. How are you going to make a profit on that? You have to make like $800 million just to break even.
People are not wanting to make a profit, if you believe it. Sometimes in filmmaking, they actually want to make something and they really want to make it.
Are you referring to The Producers, that old film?
I just mean sometimes people are like, we got to get this last one done. This is it. This is our time. We got to do it.
I guess.
I don't know.
Well, anyway, I have no objections to their casting of Superman and Lois Lane. We'll see how it is.
It's a good movie. It's a good movie.
I hope it's good. And, hopefully, like, the budgets don't go crazy on this. So, let us know your thoughts about the upcoming DC universe and their first project, Superman Legacy, with David Corenswet and Rachel Brosnahan. I'm all for it. Hoping it's good. Okay, are you looking forward to it, or you said you're weary?
I just don't trust them.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. I hope it's good.
You might wait for me to go see it and then tell you if it's good or not. Yeah, they better knock that out of the park, or they're going to be in. They're going to be in so much trouble.
Not so good.
Okay, let us know your thoughts on the upcoming Superman Legacy movie and that casting news. Let's see what we got here. Trailers. Okay, first off, The Horror of Dolores Roach, which just came out this weekend.
Apparently.
It's on Prime, so it's from Amazon Studios. It's a new series. What'd you think of this trailer?
I like the look of it.
Me too.
I don't know. Sorry, if it's going to continue, if it's going to be able to keep whatever was going on. It looked really good.
Yeah, you said it looked funny. I thought it looked more like a creepy story, but with humor in it. To me, it looked like this woman... She's out of prison. The basic premise is she's out of prison, so she's an ex-con. No job, no one will hire her. She's got no money, and things aren't going well for her. So she decides she's going to start up a massage parlor.
A real massage parlor.
Yeah, except it's going to be in the back of her friend's business. And let's just say things go a little bit awry.
It looks like as if something happens within her. Like she's like a werewolf or something. Like she just snaps. I don't know. That's the part I'm curious as to know why this is happening. Or what's going on there. Is there some kind of trick to it?
So the trailer makes it look as if she has to kill some customer who's getting out of hand.
Oh, I think there's more than that. It seems like all of a sudden something happens with her.
And then it just spirals out of control and she's got to dispose of his body. And
there's more than that to it by the looks of the trailer. Anyway, I'm interested in it.
Yeah, it looks fun.
I have so many things to watch. I just finished watching Strange New Worlds, and now Jack Ryan is on.
Yep.
I gotta finish watching that. There's so much to watch.
There's always so much to watch. So that's why we got
lots of things to do.
Pick what we. That's why I have to be very selective in what I watch. That's why if I watch something new, and if the first episode is garbage, I ain't going back because I don't got time to waste on it. But I pulled this because Prime doesn't have that much in terms of new good series and original movies. So
there's a few things that have been good, of course. But
there's
other things that aren't very good.
And
The Boys, Mrs. Maisel. Jack Ryan is good, mostly.
Yeah, and this is the final season for that. Mrs. Maisel, they changed it, ended. And The Boys we just talked about last episode has been delayed. Rings of Power was disappointing for a lot of people.
I liked it better on the second watching.
You watched it a second time?
Yeah, because I watched it with my mother. I wanted her to watch it, so we watched it together. I did enjoy it more the second viewing.
Okay. I haven't watched it a second time, but that's good to know. I'll check it out when, in a couple of years when the next season comes out. It
had a bit of pacing issues, and I think that's why it was better to watch it the second time, because I kind of had an idea of where it was going, because at first we were like, where is this going?
Yeah. First you were watching, I'm like, it's beautiful. But it's not really going anywhere, and then you gotta wait a week for the next episode.
Yeah, and so I found watching it again, and I watched it pretty, within a week. It was better that way.
Okay.
The mystery wasn't there.
So anyway, we're looking forward to this new Horror of Dolores Roach series coming out on Prime.
Yeah.
Check out the trailer there on YouTube and let us know if you think it's any good or not. Leave a comment down below, and you can always give us a thumbs up if you enjoy this episode there. Moving on to our next trailer. This one's definitely for you. It's The Nun 2, coming out from Warner Brothers. What'd you think of this trailer?
It looks really scary. I saw an earlier trailer for this, I think. There was an earlier one, wasn't there?
No, this just came out. There might have been a teaser, but you're probably thinking of the first Nun movie.
Maybe, I don't know. I didn't see it. But, I mean, the poor nuns, that's how I feel. The Catholic Church probably not too pleased. But it does look pretty terrifying, and in the trailer there was some interesting manifestations there.
Good kitty.
So it looked scary. I don't know, it might be stupid though in the end. I don't know, it's hard to tell.
Yeah. Well, the trailers make it look as if it's going to be really good.
It's a good trailer.
I saw that. Yeah. It did look a little bit creepy. It's supposed to be in the 50s. I was reading the movie info on it. One person that I know who stood out from this trailer is Storm Reed is in it. She's been popping up all over the place and a bunch of things. She was in Missing. She was in the Suicide Squad that we watched. She was Idris Elba's daughter.
Oh, okay.
And she's been in a bunch of other things. So she's always popping up places.
We'll have to see. It does look really creepy. It does look like it foots the bill of that. I love that magazine scene that they show.
The old 50s
trailer.
Magazines there.
I like that. That's a cool concept. Anyway, but it looks too terrifying. I might not be able to watch it.
This is part of the Conjuring series. Have you watched any of the Conjuring movies?
No. See,
Yeah.
if they're good scary, it scares me too much. If they're bad, then they're just stupid. And then I'm like, feel like bad, right? So I don't know. I'm not one to go see horror movies because sometimes if they're too scary, I just can't handle it.
Yeah. I'm not really a horror movie guy, but I go check out as many things as I can now because I'm trying to expose myself to all different genres and see as many movies as I can in the theaters, as I've been doing for the past few years.
If it's not stupid, I might go to see this one. It looks a bit like
you can take the kid. She might want to go.
Yeah.
It's
like
coming
an
out
Exorcist type of thing.
September 8th.
It looks scary.
Now, I'll go see it. Hopefully it's good. One of the Annabelle movies, I believe, Annabelle Creation, that one was quite creepy. I did enjoy that one.
The dolls. I can't see anything about dolls.
But then there was Annabelle Comes Home, and that was nothing. And then there was another Conjuring movie that came out, and it was nothing for me.
This one does look, the trailer anyway, is done well.
Yeah, but we've always seen good trailers for stuff that's crap,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
So that's our thoughts on it. Are you excited to see The Nun Part 2? Electric Boogaloo. Did you like the first one? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below, please. You can always give us a thumbs up if you like this segment here. Now we're going to go into our Netflix July 2023 preview. So that's where they do like a long 6 to 8 minute preview trailer and they just give you some clips of a bunch of different things that are coming out. And it's beginning of July. So first one I got was on July 2nd, we're getting Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves is being released.
Yes,
now,
which we've seen already.
I saw that in theater. Yeah, we both saw that in theater. And it was really fun. If you didn't get to see that in theater, one, what are you doing with your life? But two, check this out if you got Netflix, because it's great. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And it's kind of for all ages. Maybe not really young kids.
It's definitely my top 5 of this year.
But, yeah.
Right up there.
This has not been the greatest year for movies for me. For me, so far, it's been a lot of disappointment. But this was a good one.
And well done.
So
it's properly done the way that you would expect it.
I'm not buying a copy of this movie. So if I have time, I might watch it on Netflix. Who knows? Anyway, what's your first pick?
I don't know. I wrote down the things that were coming out. I never saw the Lincoln Lawyer. Apparently, Lincoln Lawyer season 2 is coming out. I don't know. The name of it sounds weird. I don't know.
Lincoln Lawyer. So are you going to watch season 1 to check out season 2?
I might. Got a season 2, so you never know.
When's it coming out?
I don't know when it's coming out, but I wrote down that one's coming out. They're all coming out soon. We're already like a week into July.
My next pick is Wham! Documentary. Comes out on July 5th.
I saw an ad.
So I do enjoy documentaries, and I was asking you during it because we know that George Michael unfortunately passed away a few years ago. But we still got Andy. Andy from Wham! Is still around. I remember those guys from back in the 80s. So I'll check this out. Hopefully it's good, an interesting story. They do have good documentaries on there on Netflix. I'm sure it's an
interesting story. Poor George Michael. I went to his concert once.
Are you looking forward to this one?
Yeah, it's just sad. I don't know. Might be too soon for me to watch it.
Okay. What's your next pick for Netflix in July?
Well, it's not for me, but it's for our daughter. Bird Box Barcelona. She loves the Bird Box movie.
Why?
It's creepy.
Is it a movie or a series?
It's a movie. I watched it. It has John Malkovich in it and Sandra Bullock.
Bird Box. Is it just called, the first one is just called Bird Box?
something like that. I don't know what it's called.
Is this
The
one-
Bird Box or A Bird Box or Bird Box.
Yeah.
Anyway,
When's
it's
it come
damn
out?
creepy. July 14th.
July 14th.
Yeah.
Okay. Next
There's-
one I got is The Outlaws comes out
Yeah.
on July 7th. So what this stood out on me, because we don't get to see a lot in this preview. What made this stand out for me is, one, it's got Adam Devine in it, and he's hilarious.
Yeah.
I've been following his career for a while.
Mr.
And then Pierce
Brosnan.
Brosnan shows up.
I think it has Kristen Chenoweth as well in it.
Really?
I think she was in it. Maybe I saw her for a moment there. I was trying to write down all this stuff.
Did you write down that one as well?
I wrote The Outlaws, PB, not peanut butter. Pierce Brosnan.
The Outlaws, Ellen Barkin. It
Oh,
says.
it's not Kristen Chenoweth. Okay, I didn't really see because I was
Ooh.
writing it down really fast. Oh, people don't like it.
Apparently it's already out because it just came out today.
Oh, yeah,
And it's
lot
got
of
a
people came out.
35% Rotten Critic rating and a 50% audience score. So
Yikes.
that's typical because
It doesn't look
Netflix makes a lot of junk movies and then they don't advertise and then they just release
Those
them
guys
straight to
would be
streaming.
in a
They
Kraken
don't
movie?
put them on into theaters.
Oh, I guess it's not.
And whenever a studio, although Netflix is worse because they just want to put everything on their streaming service, but whenever other studios take their properties, especially movies, and they don't put them in theater and they put them directly to streaming, it shows they have no confidence in it. So now how good the trailer looks. Now this is an hour and 35 minutes. So
Okay, it's
I
a
might
movie.
check it out, but if after 20 minutes I'm bored out of my mind, I'll be like,
scores-
nope, turn it off.
Scores don't look good.
No, it does not.
No.
So but I'll check it out just because it's got Adam Devine and Pierce Brosnan. I mean, James Bond himself.
Yeah.
Ellen Barkin,
Oh, it's
Nina
Ellen
Dobrev, Michael Rooker's in it. Cool.
Okay. Well, it doesn't. The scores aren't looking good. There's
Richard Kind.
There's
He's
two,
hilarious.
He's always hilarious. I love him.
And
Although
little-
he was in Beau is Afraid.
And Little Ray
I hold
Howery,
that
he's
against him.
hilarious too. He was the one guy. He was the security guard friend in Get Out. Remember the guy who was like, "Get out of there!" Okay, his security guard friend that he was always looking at, and showed up at the end in
I
Get
love
Out.
him.
Spoilers for a movie that's
Yeah,
7
yeah.
years old. Okay, what's your next pick?
Well, there's two funny ones coming out. They Clone Tyrone July 21st and Happiness for Beginners July 27th. So I think they're series. I'm not
Happiness for Beginners is a series, so I put that one on my list. July 27th. It's a series, and I watched the trailer for it.
sure. Oh, you did? Yeah.
And the trailer made it look even better.
Oh, what about They Clone Tyrone? That looks funny too.
Not to me, it didn't. I didn't write
Oh,
that
it
one
looked
down.
funny to me. I don't know. That just
When's
looked
that
funny.
one coming out?
July 21st. That's the week before. So if you want your funny, get They Clone Tyrone, and then next week you get Happiness for Beginners.
Well, hopefully
And,
this Outlaws is good, but it doesn't look like it.
Oh, and The Witcher season 3, I guess. I started watching The Witcher. I think I might have watched a little bit of The Witcher with you, the first one, and
I watched the
really
first
didn't
episode. I
like
didn't
it,
like
and
it,
I think
so.
I left halfway through. I think you might have finished it. I didn't. I can't really remember.
Well, I turned off. I don't think I even got through the first episode. I was like,
But
nah, it's not for me.
Now that it has
But
a
people
season
like it.
3, I said, okay, I'm going to give it a chance. So it took me a long time to get in it.
Ouch, that's not good.
No, because The Witcher himself, unfortunately,
He's boring.
and it reminded me of that movie that I hate so much that you love so much. You
What
might like
movie?
the Superman movie.
Man of Steel,
Yeah,
which is an awesome movie
it is not
for me.
because he has that same. He's like, but mixed Superman with some Batman in there. In The Witcher, he's like, okay, let's walk over there. He's so
We're going to the next step.
and I really can't stand that. And it
I'm
just gave me
Batman.
flashbacks to.
Did he say
Superman.
I'm the Witcher?
I don't know if he ever said that, but it's just I don't like him. He's like the worst. I like the other characters. Yennefer is funny.
Henry Cavill can also be really fun and jovial
He's
and
not.
charismatic. Did you ever see The Man from U.N.C.L.E., the remake?
I've
or,
seen him in that the Sherlock Holmes spinoff with
Enola Holmes.
Enola Holmes. Yeah,
Was he
different
good in
there.
that?
Yeah, he was Sherlock, but he didn't have a big role. But he's just awful. The Witcher. I can't stand The Witcher himself.
Then
Anyway.
why are you watching the show?
But it has an interesting story. And
How-
I like interesting stories.
How far are you into The Witcher season 1?
I did season 1.
Yeah, you finished it?
Yeah, I finished season 1. And it has an interesting story. And now we're in season 2.
Okay.
And so yeah, Yennefer is the most interesting character.
So this was a preview. So
She's
season 3, volume 2, which I guess is part 2 of season 3, is coming out this month.
And it also confused me because it was 2 different time frames the first season, and I was like, what the hell's going on
Yeah, people
here?
had to figure that out. I remember them commenting on that. What rating would you give the first season?
I don't know. Probably an 85.
That's pretty good.
Not for me. Because The Witcher is so... Anyway, but I like interesting stories. I like this kind of story.
Do you like the world that they created?
Yeah, it's like a Lord of the Rings type of thing, right?
Yeah, it's fantasy.
Elves and witches.
It is based off of a video game
The only
property that
thing
people
is,
really love.
They're talking about things and I don't understand them, so that's why I gotta watch more. Because they're talking about the conversion or something with spheres crash into each other.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. With this world, is it our world in the future? Is it our world in the past? I have no idea. Anyway, and so it's interesting in that way, but The Witcher himself, I like his horse better.
His horse has more personality than him.
Roach.
Okay, so I guess you're really looking forward to getting to season 3 then.
It's interesting, but The Witcher himself is like, oh, it drives me. Anyway.
Okay. Did you have any others? I got one more that I wrote down.
I don't know.
Netflix
I just thought that was it for me. The Wham one is
the last one I wrote down is July 18th. We're getting The Batman on Netflix with Robert Pattinson. Now, I don't have to wait till July 18th because I got my copy of The Batman here on 4K right here, which I've already watched a couple of times. And I enjoy it. It's not my favorite Batman movie. It's a bit long.
When you guys watch it, just pretend that Robert Pattinson is 13 years old. And then it'll go a lot smoother because that's basically what it was written for. A 13-year-old boy.
Well, I would argue with you on that, but there's no point.
The character is not evolved. He's not a man. The way that he's so like.
Well, it's supposed to be Batman in his second year, and he's very much emo Batman. This is the most emo Batman we've.
It's like he's getting hormones.
But if you haven't checked it out, if you haven't checked out Matt Reeves' The Batman from 2022. Which made good box office money, so check it out. It's finally on Netflix if you have that there. So those are our picks for July 2023 from Netflix. And we're going to keep doing this every month. If you have any other picks or if you're looking forward to any of the ones that we mentioned or different ones, let us know down in the comments below, please. And you can always give us a thumbs up there to help us out. We'd appreciate that on any of our videos. Moving on, let's go into our reviews. Yesterday we saw Joyride from Lionsgate, and it was made by Seth Rogen's production company, Point Grey. You know who Seth Rogen is, right?
Yes.
Funny Canadian guy?
Yes.
So, I'll let you go first on this one. What did you think of Joyride while I look up the current rating on Rotten Tomatoes?
It had some laughs in it, but I just felt it was off in some ways. And I thought,
in what way?
When we started getting a laugh, they could have... There's like jokes I even thought of that could have went on, but instead they just stop and go to like a serious moment. Yeah,
get into the emotion, or they're explaining stuff what's going on.
And all the sex stuff was weird. And I don't know. It was just, there was some really funny things, but it just was all over the place. And I think they could have really teased the jokes out more.
Mm-hmm.
See, they just abruptly cut it off. And like,
I guess.
I don't know. I think there was missed opportunities with it.
Okay, there is not a lot of ratings so far, but it currently has a 92% certified fresh critic rating on Rotten Tomatoes and an 89% audience score, but there's only 50 plus verified ratings, so it could go down, could go up, you know. It's only an hour and 32 minutes.
Yeah.
Now, when I went to go see this, I had a fun time. And we did a trailer reaction a long time ago, and people are still watching our trailer reaction.
The trailer was just packed full, and I wish this had more, but it could have been super, super funny.
The trailer made it look really funny, so they gave away a bunch of the stuff in the trailer. Did they give away everything? No. Did they give away all the best stuff? No, but they gave away some stuff.
Yeah.
And there wasn't enough jokes and humor in it for me to warrant that this is like a fun comedy, because a lot of stuff was already spoiled, and they didn't put in tons of other jokes.
No, and then you wanted to cry at one point.
Yeah, and then it gets really emotional. There was a lot of kind of dull, slow moments in it, especially near the end. I'm like, okay, I get that, romantic comedies always do this. Think about some of like the classic romantic comedy. No, it's not. But they make it really funny, and then it gets serious and emotional, and there's this weird, awkward moment at the end. They always have this really odd, awkward moment where someone's making an idiot of himself in public, and I don't like this. I mean, get to the jokes already. Yeah. That's what I'm there for.
Like the ending you're talking about? Yeah, I didn't like the ending.
Yeah, so there was a lot of funny stuff in it, and I had a fun time. We're not spoiling this because we're not spoiling any of the jokes.
But basically the whole...
What's the basic premise of this movie?
Everyone is racist?
No. The main story is
everyone
two childhood friends, which we see in the trailer. Yeah, that's why I'm asking you. Two childhood friends, them and another friend that they don't really like. I think it's a family member. They go on a trip. They meet up with a fourth friend there in China, and then hijinks ensue. Okay? That's the basic premise of the movie. And they go to other countries as well. It gets a bit crazy. You kind of get a lot of the story from the trailer.
Yeah, and I think the main character's personality was a bit off.
How so?
Well, she's very driven, but then all of a sudden she just goes completely off the rails. And it's a little bit conflict there with how they presented her.
So that is Aubrey. The main character, played by, hold on, I got it here.
I mean, they're all great at acting.
Ashley Park plays, Audrey, and she's the one who she's adopted and she has white parents.
Yes.
And so she's the one that's really driven, and then her friend Lolo, played by Sherry Cola.
Is not driven.
No, she's the one with Asian parents, and usually in real life, it's the opposite, right? The immigrant parents really push their kids. And then the people that are here in North America, whether it be Canada or the U.S., like their kids are like, whatever, I'm just going to be a starving artist and, do stuff on social media all the time.
She's supposed to be more reserved, and her other friend is not. And that's what it's supposed to be about. But then in the middle, they kind of blend that all together. I don't know. The acting was great in it.
For me, the funniest character was Stephanie Sue's cat. That's the friend they meet up with in China.
Yeah.
She's hilarious. We've seen her in a bunch of things.
Yeah.
She showed up in Everything Everywhere All at Once. Yeah. She was also apparently in Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings, although I don't know who she played there. Where is it? So character. I'm guessing that was one of Awkwafina's relatives or something. I don't remember.
Anyway, she's funny, but... It was just there was something wrong. It could have been really, really funny.
I think they tried to put too much emotion and heartfelt moments, which they didn't really earn.
You can still do that, but the jokes just ended so quickly.
Yeah.
Like, for example, we see on the trailer the thing about the drugs. We saw that in the trailer. That happens, and then it's over. They didn't tease that out.
There was a little bit of stuff they put in, but I'm thinking that... I don't know anything about making movies, but when you make comedies like this, you want to put tons and tons of jokes in it, and take some of the jokes that aren't in the movie, put them in the trailer, and then have different jokes in the movie so you're not spoiled.
And that was kind of it. Everything we saw in the trailer was what happened there. And that could have...
There was other good jokes.
But the story there could have went completely sideways and could have been really funny, and instead it wasn't.
Yeah.
So it was a missed opportunity.
They were going for a raunchy R-rated comedy, but they didn't quite get there. They kind of held themselves back in reserve, I guess.
Yeah.
It was a good attempt.
It was still good.
From this director. I'm not trying to crap on these people. They all did good work.
No, I mean, it was good.
I had a fun time on the internet rating system of best worst movie. I give it a best movie ever. It was fun. I'd check it out. What'd you think of it?
I'd probably give it like an 89, just like they're saying, probably an 89. It wasn't in the 90s for me because it was getting so funny, and then I was like, not funny anymore. Reduced down,
Yeah.
And then it was funny, and then not funny.
Too many pauses in it, I guess.
Pacing or something.
So far, the critics, so far people are enjoying it, but we'll see if more, but that doesn't mean that lots of people are going to go see it. that's determined by box office, right?
Yeah.
So just like when we saw that Ruby Gillman, which we're going to talk about later on this episode, everyone who saw it was loving it, but not a lot of people were going to see it. And then there was us, and we're like, skip that one.
I did not like that one.
Okay. Anyway, let us know your thoughts on Joyride. Are you checking it out? What did you think of it? You know, maybe you thought it was hilarious. Maybe it was the best comedy ever.
It did make me laugh in some places.
There was a lot of laughing. But, and also our theater wasn't full, so it was only a few people in the theater. This is a movie you want to go see when it's packed. Like, go see it on Friday or Saturday night, or on a cheap night when there's lots of people there, because then you get caught up in the emotion and everyone laughing, right? And it's a better time. Let us know your thoughts on Joyride, and if you want, give us a thumbs up. We'd appreciate that. And you can always subscribe for more content. Our next review, I'll put to you, Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 2, Episodes 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Go, and you can spoil these because we have to have stuff to talk about.
They just came out, especially the one from, I won't talk too much about the one from, that just came out this week. I don't know, because I'm off my pacing on this. So the second one, the first one is the captain goes to help the XO, and they're captainless, and Spock goes off and takes them on a rogue mission. That's what the first one was about. The second one, now we're joined up to the captain and where he went to get the XO to trouble.
You're talking about Captain Pike.
Yeah, and because she's I'm gonna say it wrong, Elysian or something. So they're not supposed to be in Star Trek because they're genetically modified. It's all about these genetically modified people. They don't like that at this time because Khan, there is a character on the show that is a direct relative of Khan. I don't really know how the parentage
Khan
is.
Noonien Singh, him and his genetically altered people.
Athosians, whatever they're called. All her people are like that. It's part of their ritual and stuff. So she's like super strong and everything.
Is this character really arrogant and cocky like Khan is?
No. This is a different character. Her whole race is like this, and they're not supposed to be in Starfleet.
Okay, but
the XL, Rebecca Romaine. She's in Star Trek, and she never told them what she was.
Oh.
And she gets arrested.
Because they find this out?
That's what happened at the end of the first season. So she's getting in really big trouble. And the thing is that Pike's girlfriend is the one that's charging her with it.
So is she not in the show anymore, or are they just following her in Starfleet?
She wasn't in the first episode. This is the second episode. Pike has gone to rescue her, and he has to work against his girlfriend, sort of, in a way. Anyway, and so he has to go to her planet and get a lawyer that was her friend that was mad at her. And
so it's not a prison break then?
Oh, no. It's all a court case, because it's Starfleet that has her.
Oh, well, that sounds boring.
Well, it was interesting enough. And anyway, he breaks her out. She's out.
He breaks her out.
He gets her out by getting the lawyer to come, because she wasn't going to go. And he forces the lawyer to come. And anyway, she's a good lawyer, and she shows it.
Okay.
So, and now they're rethinking, like, okay, well, maybe we've got to think about this policy some more, right? However, the Noonien Singh girl, who is their security officer, she's still there, so she's allowed to be there. I'm not really sure why, but she's allowed to be on the ship. I don't really get
what's
why.
happening in season 2. What's the main premise of this season? What's going on? Are we just getting...
There is no main premise. It doesn't
just all
work.
over the place?
No, but it doesn't work like that. It's more like the old Star Trek.
The original Star Trek series?
Yes.
So it's just individual episodes that aren't...
Well, they were sort of linked. These were sort of linked because she got arrested the last episode of the last season, I think it was, and now he left to go rescue her in this first episode, and now he got her out.
So there's continuity, but there's not like a main story that goes throughout the whole season.
That's what I said. It's very much like the original series.
Is that good or bad?
Well, last year, I started really warming to the show. I liked some of the episodes. One of my favorite characters got killed off. But I like the characters. No. Spock, of course, doesn't get killed off.
Was it Michael Burnham?
Engineer.
Oh.
Anyway, but you don't know anything about it. Anyway,
I don't know.
Just like, the first season of The Next Generation was not the greatest. Take a while.
I
It
don't
takes a
remember
while
it.
for you to warm to the characters and everything. There was good things and bad things. I've watched it again.
Okay.
You don't remember
So-
that. Anyway, I'm warming to it. The next episode.
Tomorrow and tomorrow and tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's episode 3.
There's nothing to do with Shakespeare in it, though.
Mm.
It's about time traveling back into our time, like the original
Of
series
course.
did a lot of. And it's with the character Noonien Singh character, and she finds a fellow in the hallway, and he gives her a device, and poof, she's.
Well, that's
Okay.
convenient. It's like, hey,
She's back
here's
in
a time travel
But
device.
guess,
Have fun.
guess where she goes? She goes to her favorite place ever.
Why can't I get one of those time travel devices
And-
by passing someone in the hallway
I won't give it. She
I would
goes
do
to the Eaton Center.
in Toronto? Of course, because if you had a time travel device, you would go to the 21st century and go to the
You
mall.
would go to Toronto. Anyway, so that's where they end up. So that's easy because they must film in Toronto, I'm assuming.
I'm guessing they blew their budget after the previous 2 episodes.
Anyway,
They're
so
like, now we have to
that
shoot it
one
in
was
real
fun.
world.
I did enjoy it.
What about the new episode, Among the Lotus
Well, I
Eaters?
didn't get to that one yet.
What's a lotus eater?
I don't know.
Mm.
Anyway, the titles are really out there. But the Toronto one was cool. It was a timeline, protecting the timeline. Of course, there's an agency.
Did they go
protecting the
shopping?
timeline. They did go shopping.
Did they go shopping at Sears?
I don't know if it was Sears. It looked like it, or the Bay. There's no Sears anymore.
Okay, so
Sears
they
is
might have
like-
gone to Hudson's
It
Bay
looked like
Company.
the Bay. I couldn't tell. I didn't see any sweaters.
Well, that is where their main store is.
But they said it was Toronto, and they were in Toronto. Not like so many
Yeah.
shows that say this is Seattle or somewhere.
You know
and
why
it's
they went there for
Vancouver.
time traveling? It's because it's cheaper to shoot in Canada, and you get all these Ontario film production tax credits.
Tax credits.
Yeah,
Anyway,
but Ontario has them too. and So does BC.
that was it. It was interesting. There was Romulans involved. There was more involved.
The Romulans were in Toronto?
Yes.
Those bastards. Did they kill them?
I'm not gonna give it.
You gotta
away.
kill those Romulans.
Anyway,
those bastards.
There's more to it. It was interesting, and we're learning a lot about. She's been there's a lot of episodes about her.
Okay.
Anyway, now this last one, I really enjoyed this one. Really into the sci-fi.
The Lotus Eaters?
world. Lotus Eaters, I guess.
Did they get back from Toronto?
Oh yeah.
That was only one episode.
Yes. it's
Yeah,
one
that's
episode.
that's typical for Star. Usually,
Yeah.
if you actually had a time travel device and got stuck in the past or something, that would be like a whole season. You could stretch that out. But they're like, nope, just a fun adventure.
'cause
Moving
it's
on.
like the original series. Everything about it has the flavor of
Okay,
it.
tell me
anyway,
what these Lotus Eaters are. Are they
I
people?
don't know what a Lotus
Aliens?
Eaters is. I don't know what a
And
Lotus.
why are they eating all the lotuses?
I did not see one lotus in the whole thing. Anyway,
Is lotus like a special term? Is it like
I
secret
don't
code
know
for something
what
else?
Among the Lotus Eaters, there must be a title.
what it
of
called.
Book. Is there, I mean,
Among
the
the
other
Lotus
one was about
Eaters.
Shakespeare. I don't know what the titles are. Anyway, never mind. Doesn't have anything to do with that. It's a interesting planet. It's Rigel 7, not the good. Not.
I don't know.
It's a bad.
What's Rigel
planet.
7
It's a
anyway?
bad planet.
It's a bad planet.
Bad planet.
Why is it bad?
Well, what happens apparently, I don't want to say all that happened, but
This is a spoiler
apparently,
review.
no, it just came out. I'm not spoiling it. Give people a chance to watch it. Anyway, what the premise is that a few years ago, they were on a mission to just investigate what on earth was on this planet. They just got there, and things went sideways, and 3 of the away team got killed, and Spock got out with his life, like he was injured or bleeding or something, and they had to get them out of there, and they took off. There
Mhm.
was hostiles. So
Spock escape?
yes,
What about Uhura?
they weren't there. There
Is
was
she
these-
still answering the space telephone?
Uhura is only young. She wasn't on the team at that point. So these 3 officers and Spock went down, and only Spock came back. So this is now
So he went with Ensign Ricky and Ensign Nikki
the
then,
3
and
ensigns
they
that
died.
Yeah, well, one was the yeoman. Anyway, so
Gotta feel bad for those guys, right?
This was like, I don't know,
Crewman
6
6
years
always
ago
dies.
or something. So now Star Trek has told them, Starfleet has told them, you guys gotta head back there. Our satellite imagery or whatever has found in monitoring that planet that they all of a sudden have a giant Starfleet emblem in their garden. So it's like a garden.
So it's a shrine.
Made. You can see it
So like
from
it's a
space
shrine to Starfleet.
To their little symbol, you know? So, the sigil. So, basically they tell them, you gotta go, you guys contaminate. Obviously, what happened there, somehow they got a hold of our gear and you contaminated them.
Yep.
So you need to uncontaminate
Prime
them.
directive again. Go back to that planet and wipe them all out.
6 years. I don't know what they're expecting to do. Yeah.
Yeah, wipe them all out.
So... exactly, that would be the only thing you could do. I don't know what they were planning on doing.
They're going to use some weird Star Trek science. They're just going to wipe everyone's memory using the tractor beam. Right. They're just going to shoot a beam at everyone, make them forget this. Yeah. Meanwhile, they'll forget everything.
Like on the Orville.
And it'll make them all sterile and be like, oops, we screwed that one up.
Like on the Orville when they worship Kelly and everything. Anyway, but they go down there and something really interesting happens. And I really enjoyed it. It was a good story. I'd say check it out. It's definitely a good one. Is
this season better or worse than the first season so far?
I wouldn't put it that way. I was getting used to the characters last season.
Mm-hmm. And
I did enjoy some of the episodes, especially at the end. First, I was like,
some of them,
I wasn't used to it. I wasn't used to it yet because it's different. I had to get used to it. I had to get into the characters. You have to learn about the characters and what they're all about. It's about character development.
Did the first episode hook you?
No.
Did the first episode of this season hook you?
No, it's just continually...
This does not sound good to me then.
You're not listening. Anyway.
I am, but I'm not hearing good stuff.
You go back and watch the first couple episodes of Next Generation, and you tell me if you would have continued watching it, because they're not very good.
Farpoint stuff?
Yeah.
I ain't watching
they're not
that
very
crap
good.
From the late 80s.
Yeah. So, anyway, it was so good. I've enjoyed this series. I enjoy it. It's interesting. It's getting back to the roots of Star Trek. Unlike Discovery, which was burning the house down.
What?
This is like building the house
You
back
love
up.
Michael Burnham, okay? Also, I want some more updates on what Michael Burnham's up to.
Oh, apparently there's another season. I gotta watch
Okay,
it.
that's Christine's thoughts on Star Trek Season 2 of Strange New Worlds. I can't comment because I haven't seen it.
To episode 4.
And I don't plan on watching it yet, so you still got 6 more to go. Also, they come out on Thursdays.
Yeah, because it just
drop.
Came out.
Let us know your thoughts on Star Trek Strange New Worlds. Please. We'd always like to hear from people. Maybe you don't like it. Maybe you think it's amazing. You know, whatever you think. We'll read it out if it's appropriate. And you can always give us a thumbs up for any of our segments and videos. We'd appreciate that. You can always subscribe for more content. Our next review, I'm going to review, just very quickly, a documentary. It's only a 3-part documentary. It's called Arnold on Netflix. And people are enjoying this. And I enjoyed this quite a bit. So it's a documentary about his life.
Right.
It's not a puff piece.
It doesn't get into his politics a lot, does it?
No, the last episode is pretty much all about him doing that and becoming the governor.
Yeah.
Which 2003 to 2011. Which, by the way, if you had a chance to vote for him, of course I'd vote for that guy. I'd be like, I don't care about his policies.
Depends on your politics.
It currently has a 70% critic rating, so that's fresh. And it also has a 95% audience score. So people are enjoying this.
Well, the only thing, when it has to do with political affiliations, maybe only certain people
there's
will
3
watch
episodes.
It.
The first one's called Athlete. The second one is called Actor. And the third one is called Arnold. So it takes you through his... him being an athlete.
And everything.
He was Mr. Universe.
Mr. Universe,
and then he was Mr. Olympia. And like multiple years he worked at this.
Yeah.
And then he wanted to become an actor and he worked at that for years and years, even though they were
the librarian.
Yeah, Conan the Barbarian. That's where he probably made one of his biggest breaks. And it was really inspiring. it does touch on some of the bad aspects of his life, because Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's not exactly like the most upstanding dude, okay?
No,
This
I've
is a
heard
guy
some
who
bad things
cheated on his wife.
about his wife,
And they address that
most
and
of
the
bad things
the
I've
affair that
heard
he
about
had.
him and his
Now,
wife.
I don't believe that he had just one affair. I believe he just had one affair where they have a kid that can't hide that, right? Because the kid looks...
come around speaking like this?
Patrick?
The kid. Does
anyway,
he look like him?
Yeah, it's like spitting image. So he probably, I don't know for a fact. I just know it's true that he probably cheated on his wife, Maria Schreier, more than just the once. And they kind of go over that. And then they do also address his bad sexist, misogynist behavior towards women.
I don't like. I've heard things like his wife was never allowed to wear pants.
Well,
As for his rules, she could only wear dresses, and so that just turns me like.
There's a lot of things
completely.
that he's done in stories that came out when he ran for governor, and they're not good stories about him, and he addresses it, and he's like, yeah, this was wrong, and I apologize for that, and I didn't mean to do any of that, and they address it head on now. So it's not puff piece, but this whole documentary is to make him look in a good light. However, it's a very interesting life that he has. You also got to remember different time periods, but that doesn't excuse his behavior.
No.
Okay?
Yeah.
He's not a perfect person. He's in his 70s now. And if you want to hear a guy, this guy came from very humble beginnings, okay, in Austria after the war, okay, and he talks about how like the whole population of men are just like broken men there because they lost the war, and it's like, go back home, you were all sold a bill of goods, by this con man, Hitler, right? For people who actually believed in the Nazi cause.
One person I know from Austria that lived there in the war, the civilians were not treated well by their own soldiers.
And also it was the 30s and the 40s, so very humble beginnings, and he goes about his life, and he's like, I have a vision, and this is what he wants to do, and he sets out doing it, and he's like, I don't care what else happens, like dead set on this. So he's determined, and he has vision. Talks about these visions he has. Not like he's actually seeing stuff. He'll just like, in his mind, I want to do this, and he sees himself doing that, so he works towards it.
Well, a lot of people do that. The only problem with Arnold that I know, I don't never watch this, but is that he was never allowed to become president of the United States because he's foreign born, and they have this rule that you can't be president if you're born in a different country.
Also, he didn't exactly leave governor on like the highest approval ratings, because they eventually got rid of him. But he did some good stuff when he was there. So if you want to learn more about this guy's life, it's interesting. He's not the greatest person. Women might not like this more
I don't think
men.
I want to watch it because I don't want to give him any more. I don't know. Anyway. It's not about his movies. It's about him personally. They talk to
so many stars in this. Okay? Uh-huh. And they even talk to his rival, who he's now best friends with, Sylvester Stallone. And he's got a documentary coming up too at Netflix. So I don't know when that's coming out, but I had a really good time with this. A lot of their documentaries are really good. So yeah, if it's something you're interested in, I give that a best limited series ever. I really enjoyed it. And it was only 3 parts.
That's good.
They're an hour long each.
The Harry and Meghan thing, I think, was 3 parts as well, but I couldn't get through it.
So I give that best movie ever. Let us know your thoughts on it. Christine hasn't seen it, so I don't think you really want to comment on it.
Watch it.
Doesn't appeal to her, but does it appeal to you? Have you checked it out? What'd you think of it? Let us know down in the comments below, please. Feel free to give us a thumbs up if you want to help us out. What is our next one is Secret Invasion. So we got episode 3 this week, which comes out on Wednesday on Disney+.
Yeah.
What'd you think of this episode? Do you remember it?
I didn't like it as much as the other ones.
No?
I thought it was stupid at the end.
Well, this one's called Betrayed. And Gravik, who's the main villain in this, that's the British black guy. He talks about making super scrolls in this episode. So this is a spoiler discussion because we got to talk about something. And I mentioned to you when we were, I think, watching the first episode, I'm like, yeah, there's going to be super scrolls eventually. And then he talks about it.
But I think all scrolls are stronger than humans.
Yeah, but super scrolls are scrolls that have the Fantastic Four powers.
Oh, God.
So they actually have more abilities.
Anyway, I didn't care for this episode. I didn't care for the banter between the characters, and I didn't like what happened at the end. They killed like an interesting character off. I don't know. I didn't.
Yeah,
care
they
for this
killed
one
off.
as much.
They killed off Amelia Clark there.
And that was the whole interesting
Gaia.
thing about the whole series.
So
it was the only like really interesting thing about her being the insider and her.
I found that weird because you put Amelia Clark in this. And they put her in a role where they're just killing her off. It's all shocking Game of Thrones style because she was the main star in Game of Thrones.
But
so
I don't know.
I don't get why they would do that.
Maybe she's not dead. Maybe someone's gonna pick her off that road, and maybe she's not. She looked pretty dead.
Maybe Maria Hill's not dead too. I don't know. It is. They do a lot of fake
also,
deaths
we find
in this
out, like,
universe.
His wife he knows about her all along.
Yep, I called that one. I said, what are the chances that this is a legitimate relationship and they actually care for each other and he knows she's a Skrull? She just changes because he prefers
But their
her.
relationship is confusing. He hasn't seen her for a long time.
Because he's been in space.
Yeah, I know, but I didn't really get their relationship. I didn't get the relationship between him and what's the main Skrull guy. I didn't get that much either. I wasn't on to this one as much. I've enjoyed the series, but I thought this one, I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope it moves on and is better the next episode. And maybe Amelia Clark will crawl away into the woods.
Well, it says here on Wikipedia, it says, Gaia attempts to run away because she sneaks information to her father, Talos.
Yeah, I think
Talos.
we should have seen more about that.
So she sneaks information, and then she attempts to run away, but Gravik, who suspects her betrayal, shoots her and leaves her for dead. So maybe she's not dead.
Maybe.
It'd be interesting if she actually stuck around and became like a big Fantastic Four villain, a big Skrull villain.
I don't see her as a villain, though. The bad guys just shot her. She's the good guy. Anyway, I don't know. I just thought, okay, where is it going to go from here? Because the last episode really was good and it really had me entertained. And now this one is like, oh, well, he knows what his wife already. They killed the daughter.
Shooting the UN, the United Nations aircraft. Does the UN have big giant planes like that? I don't think they do.
Labels on
and label it UN.
They wouldn't label it like that.
Well, maybe if you're flying into places like, hey, don't shoot us. I don't know. But the plot seemed a bit kind of ridiculous.
It is in a different universe. It is in a different world.
We got 3 more episodes to go. So this wasn't the greatest episode.
No.
And so far, it's not exactly winning me over this series.
I liked it up until this one. Now I'm hoping it'll regain. But it kind of...
Maybe.
There was a lot of things that happened in the first couple, but... I don't know. Anyway, we'll have to see.
Hopefully they pick it up in the next 3 episodes. But so far... It's similar story to Peacemaker, and it's not as good.
No, because it's not as funny.
Yeah, it doesn't have all the humor and the incompetence and all kinds of like dumb things that they're doing that people really would do, you know? So,
yeah, and Fury is like, he's arguing with everybody and stuff, and I don't know.
And also, in the MCU, because they're constantly like killing off people and then, oh no, wait, he's not dead, or we brought him back to life, something like that. It's just, you know, they do it too much, right? They've done it too much over the last, how long has it been now? 15 years it's been going, since 2008?
Yeah. And the last episode before this one, too, I didn't get his fight with Don Cheadle and what they were fighting.
Yeah, Don Cheadle's being a real dick in this.
Yeah, I didn't...
He's got his own series coming up later on.
Anyway.
Okay, so I'm still with it, and I'm gonna finish watching it, even if it goes really downhill. But... So far, this was the weakest of the episodes.
Yeah, this was the weakest.
Come on, Disney, Marvel, you gotta do better than this.
We're doing good. I mean, keep it up.
If you're releasing stuff like Quantumania and what's some other things that were just kind of okay there? Thor: Love and Thunder was okay.
I didn't like that one. The Eternals.
I did, but a lot of people. Don't get me started on Eternals. Eternals was great. I loved it, but it's divisive. It's divisive. However. Okay, let us know what you think so far of Secret Invasion. Where is this going to go? I don't remember the Secret Invasion storyline from the comics that much.
Right.
So, and a lot of times with some of these things, they don't necessarily follow the storyline from the comics.
Question.
Shoot.
Where is Carol Danvers at this time?
She's in space.
Was she not helping out?
Actually, no. The last time we saw her, she swapped places with Kamala Khan in Ms. Marvel series, and then she ended up in Kamala's room.
Is that why she's not helping out? Because she's not there anymore? I don't know. I think you need to call her and get her to sort this out.
Where's everyone else? I don't know. It's mostly, this is Nick Fury's series.
Yeah, but I think at this point they need to call her.
I guess.
Call her on the secret phone or whatever it is.
To deal with the Skrulls?
Yeah, that's her world, the Skrulls, right? Anyway, I don't know.
Anyway, it's an interesting thing that all these Skrulls, like 1 million Skrulls came to Earth, and now they've decided, hey, we're just going to take over because we want this planet and screw everyone else.
Well, some of them think that, yeah.
Okay, so let us know your thoughts on the new Secret Invasion series. Do you have any predictions going on? Are you enjoying it? Have you tapped out already? Let us know down in the comments below. You can always leave us a thumbs up if you like this video or any of our segments. Our next review, Christine, you're going to review Glamorous from Netflix, the first season.
Well,
how far did you get into this show?
Get to the full season.
Okay.
Yeah, I saw this show and I thought of maybe it's like The Devil Wears Prada, and actually in the first episode they do say that they feel like Andy from The Devil Wears Prada.
Mm-hmm.
And I was looking forward to it because I was hoping it was going to be good. Because instead of Andy, who is a woman with a guy's name, it's a man, and he likes to dress up. He's like a feminine man, and he likes to wear heels, and he
so he's a cross-dresser. That's his thing.
I don't think that's what he identifies as.
Sure.
Anyway, he likes to dress up, and he gets to work at this makeup agency that's really glamorous, and King Cattrall is the head of it, and her doofus son is like in charge of most things, and there's other people that work there. But I was hoping it was going to be good because it's nice to see somebody like that on like in a show and be the lead essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But I just find it's missed the mark.
Not good writing.
Yeah, the son is just so fake. Like a lot of it's fake, and the people are way too witty. There's not enough personality in the people. They always have a comeback. It reminds me of a lot of these shows we see about kids in high school that like talk like they're
40 years old.
I don't know, like they are reading from a script. Yeah, you don't.
Yeah.
I just so much talking, and it's just. I think it's just kind of dumb. It's foolish.
Okay. Well, it's labeled as a drama. On Rotten Tomatoes, it has a 57% Rotten critic rating and 58% audience score. So people aren't really enjoying this that much.
No, unfortunately, it could have been really fun. Like if they were going to make it kind of outrageous, like they could have made it funny. But it's not really funny, and it's not really sincere in a lot of ways either.
It's not labeled as a comedy.
It should be more of a comedy, really. Okay.
So if they had made this a comedy, it would have been good. So you tapped out after the first episode.
No, I got into episode 4, but episode 3 I was real trailing. Episode 4 I'm like, I'll try, because it's so nice to have a character like this in a show.
Yeah, it's a young gender non-conforming queer man is what it says here under the series info, which... So just not good writing then, I guess. Yeah. But it's nice to have that representation for this community.
But it just fell flat. I was looking forward to Devil Wears Prada type of thing.
I'm surprised you made it 4 episodes in, because when I watch something, if it's not good, I tap out after the first episode.
I was trying to get there. You know, I give it more than you do. So yeah, unfortunately, wasn't good. Maybe someone else will pick up this idea and make a better show.
So you give it a worst series ever.
Yeah, it's not good. Oh, I don't do that. I give it like a 62.
Christine doesn't recommend anyone check out Glamorous on Netflix. If anyone else is out there and you've checked it out, was it good? Was it bad? Maybe you enjoyed it. Maybe if you got all the way through it, all 10 episodes, let us know down in the comments below. We'd like to hear from people, and then we read out our comments later on.
Yeah.
Also, if you enjoy any of these segments, go ahead, give us a thumbs up. That would be awesome.
Like in the show, like Rutherford Falls, which is a show that I enjoy. They have a great character, Bobby Yang, and I love that character on the show. And the show is funny, and I think that's a great character. And I was hoping to see something like that here, but we don't. I didn't feel like it
falls flat.
Yeah, it wasn't done right.
Okay.
Anyway.
Our next review, we just got back today from seeing Ruby Gillman, Teenage Kraken. This is an hour and 33-minute kids movie, animated movie from Dreamworks. And this ain't one of the better Dreamworks things, I can tell you that. Right now it's currently rated at 66% fresh on Rotten Tomatoes. So that's 60% is the threshold. So most of the critics are saying something nice about it. Audiences, so far over 100 verified scores, 84% audience rating.
That's really high.
We saw this. I didn't really care for it. It's, it's short, but I found this, you know what, it wasn't for me. I found this quite boring. I'm trying to think of things that I liked in it.
Doesn't have a proper audience.
Okay.
First of all, the intelligence of the movie is more like for a 6-year-old, 4 to 6, 7 maybe. But some of the language they use in it, sometimes the language is really sophisticated.
Mm-hmm.
The characters, we are still uncertain. It says in the beginning of the movie that she's like in junior high, going to a junior high prom, and they say over and over that she's like 15 years old. Now, our daughter just went to her junior high prom. Mm-hmm. But then at the end, they keep on then saying that they're in high school and that this is like now they're going to become adults.
Well,
so they can't even remember that this is actually supposed to be a junior high dance, and then they change it to a high school dance. So they can't even get it right.
I guess in this world, junior high goes, so you could turn 15 at the end of junior high, and then you have your junior high prom, which we never had that in junior high. We had high school prom. And then they go off to high school. What can I say that's good about this movie?
It's colorful.
Will Forte's in it. And he plays this Captain Lighthouse. I just kept thinking he looked like Captain Highliner. And it's played by Will Forte. So it's Metalbeard from the Lego movie. Right away I recognized the voice. I didn't recognize it. The mom in this is Toni Collette. I didn't recognize her voice at all. But right away, I recognized Jane Fonda is the grandmother.
Yeah. I think they're making fun of Canadians all the time, and because they say his name is Gordon Lighthouse for one thing.
Yeah.
And then they say that Canadians are blue. It's like Terrence and Phillip.
So this
in South Park, right? They're Canadians. They look like aliens.
This is a cartoon. It's animated, but they live in this cartoon world, this town that's like an island on the ocean there. And they're not allowed to go into the ocean. So this is Jaws sequels, like ridiculousness. Okay, we can't go near the ocean, but let's live right on the ocean.
Makes no sense.
Makes no sense. Why not just move somewhere that, rains more?
The whole town makes no sense. The movie, it's too over the head for little kids, and nobody over the age of 8 is going to want to see it.
Yeah, but I'm trying to say nice things about it.
It's about women power. That's one thing it's definitely about.
Her turning into a Kraken is a metaphor for puberty, similar to Turning Red when they were turning into giant red pandas. But Turning Red did this way better.
But her age
but
is
it's
wrong.
Nice to see that they're getting those themes there.
Her age is wrong. It's just off. The whole thing is off. It doesn't have an audience. It's not very funny. It's colorful, but I don't even care for the animation, to tell you the truth.
There's kind of too much dialogue, so they're constantly just throwing stuff at you on screen and in dialogue, and to keep you engaged. But I found myself just nodding off. So
some of the language is, it's not good.
What rating would you give this movie?
Oh.
Would you recommend parents take their kids to go see this?
No, maybe. If they're really little, they might enjoy the colors. I wouldn't go to see it in the theater, though. I'd give it like a 47.
Yeah,
I don't think it was good. It doesn't even have an audience.
On the internet rating system, I give this a worst movie ever. So if you're looking for a kids movie or a fun animated movie to see, I would recommend waiting to watch this when it comes out on streaming. But if you're going to the theater, there's still lots of stuff playing. Super Mario Brothers is still playing if you haven't seen it. Elemental is quite good.
And that's much better than this one, I'm assuming. I haven't seen it yet.
It was much more interesting, I found. What else is still playing? We got Guardians 3. If you got like older kids, you can take them to see that. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, which is making all the money.
This is just doesn't really have an audience. It's not funny.
No.
And it's going to make kids scared of mermaids, probably.
Some kids might like this. There was a cool water effect actually at the end with the villain, which by the way, I'm not going to tell who the villain is, but it's pretty obvious. Like they telegraph it a mile away. But they had cool water hair at the end there. And I thought that was an interesting design. But I would say wait until this comes out on streaming to check it out, and then just go see, because there's way better things to go see in the theater. You know, times are tough. You know, so don't waste your money on something that's just going to be blah.
I didn't think they had enough legs.
Yeah, why did she get an extra leg? Oh, here's my question for you about this movie. They have a pet in this movie. What the hell was that thing? I don't know. It's supposed to be like their pet ocean dog, but I have no idea.
Fish.
Was that supposed to be a cuttlefish?
I'm guessing.
I think it was weird.
I think it was a cuttlefish.
It's supposed to be cute and cuddly, but it looked weird to me. It looked more like a Venus flytrap that was going to eat you with this giant mouth, because that's all it is a giant mouth.
Bad. Again, if it could have dialed it down and been for the like 3 to 7 year old frame, but it didn't do that. It just is all over the place.
Did anyone else out there see this? And if so, what'd you think of it? Because apparently the audiences are pretty good with it, but audiences usually are more forgiving about those things. But
they asked a couple birthday parties of 5-year-olds.
You heard what we think about this. If you enjoyed our video, if you're not going to spend money on this, you can give us the thumbs up. Let us know what you thought down in the comments below, please. We'd love to hear from you.
It's no Finding Nemo.
Now we're going back for another adventure of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway.
Okay.
Season 2, Episode 10.
You're really getting in there.
Hey, I gotta get through all 7 seasons, right?
Is this a good one?
It's called... Yes, it is. It's not called Yes, It Is. It's called Cold Fire. So, all the cast are featured in this one, but once again, there's one main character. But this is more of an ensemble episode, but it still does focus on one episode. So I'm going to count that on my list of who gets their own episode, main story. You want to know who the main character is?
Who?
It's your favorite person, Tess. It's her episode.
Again!
Well, this is her second episode that's been all about her.
She's heavily in most of these
She's always
episodes.
Featured stuff, right?
Oh my god, what were they thinking?
But in this episode, we get to see her like doing multiple jobs at once. So it starts off, and she's with
I'm annoyed already.
Well, you're about to be even more annoyed and bored because she's hanging out with Tuvok, and they're working together
he's very likely for her to hang out with too. I'm sure he would love to hang out with her.
They're doing their telepathy exercises to try and develop her weird space elf powers that they never quite define, and they keep adding more stuff and then retconning it, and now they add a whole bunch more. So she's dealing with that. Doesn't go so well. So then she's got to report to her other job in sickbay, being a nurse, hanging out with the doctor.
Yeah.
And as they're working, suddenly like an alarm goes off. They're like, "What's going on here?" So they have to track it down, and it's in a storage closet.
Okay.
And there's a rock in like a storage container.
Oh, it's one of those crystalline entities.
No. So this one is going back to the first episode, the caretaker episode.
Yeah,
when they first
I was wondering what happened to him. Remember I said they need to put him on display.
Yeah, so
Is it him?
Yeah, it was his remains. So the caretaker just turned into like a fossilized rock at the end.
They need to like give him a display case or
something.
So
they took it. Weird. They took it with them and then blew up that station, right?
I think that whole
did
everything wrong that first episode.
It ain't great. So I think they rushed it. So now this thing's going off like an alarm every few minutes.
Did they not like put it? It needs like a grave or something. Like they should have given it some reverence.
So they call Janeway.
Yes.
They call good old big hair Janeway back because she's still got her blonde hair. Sometimes they change it up though. And so she's there, and I think it might be Harry Kim is featured. He's not in this very much. Also, your guy, Paris,
He's not my guy.
is in it for maybe 2 seconds and gets one line and then he's gone.
At least he's more interesting than Harry Kim, but still.
So he's not
really.
This is not a Harry Kim episode. So they're analyzing. No, it's with B'Elanna. B'Elanna's there because she's so good at science, right?
Yeah.
So they're analyzing this rock that they kept of this guy's remains.
Right.
Creepy. And she's like, there's nothing. There's nothing. Okay? And they're like, yeah, you're crazy because it's the doctor hearing it.
Oh, only the doctor can hear.
And Cass.
Oh.
So they're about to pack up and leave when it starts going off again.
Right.
Oh, now we found stuff there. So apparently this guy's fossilized remains is going off like a homing beacon. Why?
Right,
because which he mentioned.
Right, and
I don't
that's
remember
what they're supposed to be doing is finding that person so they can get back home.
So they're getting close, and so this thing is acting like a beacon.
Right.
So they have to science it up, which makes no sense, to figure out where it's coming from to get the coordinates to go there. So they track that down.
A beacon attracting the entity to it.
I didn't write this crap.
Anyway, okay.
So they go there, and
they just left it in a closet.
And there's another station. Well, they left it in a storage compartment. Also, Tuvok is there. He's like, oh yeah, that's what it's saying. He's saying, we don't know what's going on. We should lock this up in like a level 3 containment because it could be radioactive or something we don't know. And Janeway's like, absolutely, but first she wants to look at it, you know, because that's smart. And that's when it goes off again.
Give it a memorial or something. Jeez, put a flower.
So they science it up and go there, and they find not the caretaker's station, but a similar one.
Right.
They're like, oh, we might get home.
Or they might get to the F quadrant.
So immediately this station starts firing on them. They're
Right.
like, what the hell?
Because the last one was firing things that made them go into the
And then they
quadrant.
They get hailed,
Right.
and it's an Ocampan guy.
Oh God.
Which is one of Kess's people. So it's another space elf.
Stupid characters.
Okay. What is this guy's name?
But
I can't really remember
those ones
his name.
were only at that one planet, and he was looking after them from
Tanis.
that planet.
So this guy Tanis is there,
Remember Tanis.
and he's a real dick.
I do remember that Tanis.
He's a real dick.
You say it.
Okay, so he hails them and says, "You're not welcome here. You've been warned. Get out." It's like, piss off, guys. And they're like, "No, we're not doing that." So instead of
they
leaving,
left the other Okama to die, essentially. So yeah, he's allowed to say that.
So they get Cass, and Cass. So he talks to Cass because it's another Ocampan, and he wants to meet with her. So they're like, "Okay, can we come over there?" "No, you can't come over here." "But I'll come over there." Okay, you guys aren't allowed here. This guy's a real dick.
Wow.
So they have a meeting with them in the officers' meeting room.
Right.
So they're all there. They gather the whole crew and Cass, like the whole senior staff, to talk to this guy, and he's not having any of it. They're asking him questions, and he's just like giving them BS answers, right? But he's using his telepathy that he now has to talk to Cass and say, "I want to meet with you alone."
Well,
so
isn't that what he asked for?
So she asks Janeway for all of them to piss off so that they can talk to each other, and he's like, "You should come live with us. We haven't had contact with the home world and all this stuff, and we answer to the other caretaker.
Where are these
Her name is called Suspiria." So they're all about Suspiria. They're there on this station. Another one comes with this guy, but he goes back. So they live on this station, and apparently they have all these abilities, and they can live longer. Because they only live for like 7 years, roughly.
The other version of them in the first episode, they were completely useless people.
Yeah, they were.
And they had to be looked after by the caretaker.
Yeah, because they were made that way.
Janeway just left them and abandoned them. And abandoned the Kazon there. Abandoned them all. It didn't make
the Kazon are dicks. And they're always fighting with each other.
They really did bad
So
stuff.
now these Ocampa have been enhanced from this other the caretaker's sister, who enhances them and helps them develop so that they can live. They live on their own.
Live on their own. Maybe that's what they should have done.
the Suspiria person, she's not there.
Oh.
So he comes on board, and then they said, okay, I'll take you to Suspiria. But what we know is he has like a telepathic conversation when he's off in his quarters somewhere, because of course they give him quarters, why not? And he's talking to Suspiria, and Suspiria's like, you can take the Cass. We don't care about her, okay? Just bring the ship to me. And one of the interesting things is when they were first talking to him, and Cass gets him to actually talk to him, they're like, hey, you guys have a bad reputation. You're going around destroying everything, raiding places for resources.
Yeah.
And causing problems everywhere you go.
You left this beautiful alien guy in a closet.
So clearly someone's talking trash about them, but instead of actually finding out about that, is it the Kazon? Is it the Suspiria? We don't know, right? Who's spreading these rumors about them?
Not rumors, they are true.
Because to them, they're the good guys. We didn't do any of those things. We're just being cool. We just have to check out every planet and anomaly we come across.
They really made a mess.
Yeah. But they gotta check out those anomalies. It's important for science. Good kitty.
I'm surprised they didn't offer this guy a job of chief engineer.
So this guy, Tanis, is like, okay, I'm going to take you to Suspiria. So they set a course, and they're going to go to this place, right?
Right.
Meanwhile, he's trying to get Cass to to stay with them. Okay, instead of staying on Voyager.
Right.
And so he's doing that. He's telling her, hey, I'm actually 14. And she's sitting there. The oldest Ocampa only lived to 9. He's like, nope, we've been enhanced now so that we can live longer, and that they now live to 20.
Right. This was their out to get rid of Cass.
Yeah, exactly. This would have been a great out for her. And he has these weird powers. He's got poison ivy powers. Because she takes him to the one cargo bay where she's growing all these vegetables, because one of her many jobs, right? And they're walking around. It's just like some small things sprouting up, right? And then he uses his mind powers, and suddenly they're huge.
Oh, I thought you meant he killed all the plants.
No, he used them to like grow really fast. He's got poison ivy powers. And then later on, he teaches her to boil water, to boil a cup of tea with her mind powers, which then accidentally she almost melts Tuvok.
Yeah.
And he's got green blood dripping down him.
Near the warp core.
Yeah, exactly. Because she doesn't know how to control any of this crap.
No.
And then another point, they're back in the cargo bay with all the vegetables and all the plants that he enhanced. And now he's getting her to focus on them. And what happens is they use their mind powers, and it sucks the life out of them so they can feel this amazing sensation. Like they're getting high and all the plants are dead. So she kills all the plants that she spent months trying to grow. Also that she can experience it. Anyway, it's like she's having like this orgasm using her mind powers.
Great. Is she all sweaty?
No. We don't need any more sweaty Cass. Seen that way too much. So they get to where they're supposed to meet Suspiria.
Isn't she like supposed to be, if she's the sister of the other fellow, she's supposed to be like all powerful?
Yeah, sort of.
So they should have realized they were falling for something.
So they just go along with it. And I'm like, but now this guy's got to get back to that station
Maybe she wants her brother's body.
So she feels that they killed her brother and blew up his space station. So when they get there, they send out this signal, and Tanis is still being a dick to all of them. He's really a jerk.
Well, they did actually kill all those people by leaving them on the planet.
They're sitting around waiting to receive a message, and then finally it shows B'Elanna. She's sciencing it up in engineering, and then there's like some tentacles coming down the background behind her, and you're like, what the hell? And no one sees it. Okay? So Tuvok goes to investigate it.
Yeah.
Hey, then they can't get him on the comm. Okay, now Janeway goes
it's like
you don't keep sending people.
It's like a gas issue.
You don't keep sending people in there because then they drop down.
Or electrocution. Just keep on sending more of them into the pool.
Yeah, and they all die.
You'll eventually get lucky.
Anyway, so Janeway goes to investigate, and Suspiria is there, but she's this little girl. Okay, it's this blonde girl with voice dubbed over to sound really old and
Okay.
cranky.
The other
So it's like an
fellow was
old
really
lady's
old.
voice. And she's got B'Elanna and Tuvok. They're floating horizontal. And
They went
B'Elanna's
really
out and
crazy
bleeding, and they're
with
just
this.
kind of
They went
they're just kind
really
of
all over the
floating.
place.
Because she's using her powers to just hold them there, and they're knocked out. And then she's gonna do the same with Janeway. And what happens is Kes is the one that saves her. So Tans is still trying to lure Kes, but once she tries to connect with Suspiria, she realizes like she's pissed off, and then she uses her mind powers to fight Tanis and Suspiria, which knocks her off, and then the crew put her in a force field in engineering there.
Right.
And she's sitting there yelling at them, you know, you killed my brother, you killed the other one of my species, blah, blah, blah. And then Jane was like, no, we didn't. Here's what happened. And, like, why would you believe her? Okay?
Mm.
And because we got the rock, they got the remains, right? That doesn't look good.
No, and they didn't.
So, and then what
Anyway.
does Janeway do? She just lets her out. And it's like, nah, we're not going to hold you prisoner. All that stuff you're claiming about us, that's not true. So it just lets her go. So what does the all-powerful kid alien do? Just leaves. And Tanis is like begging, please take me with you. So she beams him away too. And Kes remains on Voyager with Neelix because they were thinking about leaving at one point. And then that's the end of the
Okay.
episode. So did you enjoy that one?
No. That made me.
That one
Not
was
too good.
interesting. Not the best, but
No.
I don't know. Give us a thumbs up if you like these Chakotay's Odyssey videos. And that's another segment of Chakotay's Odyssey featuring the adventures of Janeway.
Yes.
Now, we're going back into the apartment for Big Bangin' Reviews.
God. Okay.
Season 7 of The Big Bang Theory. Why are you so anti Big Bang Theory, dear?
I'm just done with it.
I'm still reviewing it. I'll
Well,
love it.
do a quick summary. Don't get
I'll
into
do
too
like
much detail.
5 or 10
I have to
minutes.
sit here. 10 minutes.
Well, you tell me if you recognize any. So at the beginning of season 7 there, Raj is all depressed because he got dumped by Lucy.
Okay.
Let's see. Sheldon and Penny are missing Leonard because Leonard went away to be on that boat in part of Stephen Hawking's research team.
Okay.
So anyway, anyway, jumping a few episodes in, it gets better when Leonard gets back, and there's an episode where he's forced to wear this really itchy sweater from his aunt. Why they do this bet? It's really dumb.
Is she there and he has to wear it because she made it for him?
No, she sent it to him years
She
ago.
didn't make it then.
No, she did. It's a knit wool sweater,
Yeah.
but it's really uncomfortable, and he
Well,
has
it
to
can
wear
be.
it with nothing underneath because Sheldon's making them.
Oh.
So, but there's a great episode where they all have Thanksgiving dinner together at the
Okay.
Wolowitz's house. So
Okay.
Mrs. Wolowitz is there in the background yelling and everything.
Right.
But who shows up? It's Bernadette's dad. He's like a
Okay.
real hard ass, you know, red meat eating, beer drinking American. He loves to watch
Okay.
football. And he's just sitting there on the couch getting drunk, pissed off because Howard's trying to talk to him. And he doesn't
Right.
like Howard at all, his
He's
son-in-law.
met Howard before, though.
Yeah, it's his son-in-law.
Okay.
Okay, who's an
I don't
astronaut.
know.
Anyway, but he ends up getting along really well with Sheldon. So him and Sheldon are just drinking beer, watching football because Sheldon knows
Sheldon?
so much about football. Because he used
Why?
to.
Sheldon doesn't drink beer, does
No, but he drinks alcohol sometimes. So
he? Okay.
they're drinking beers, and he just becomes a real dick, and he's just drunk, and he's treating Amy really poorly. He's like, "Go get us some more beers," and then he smacks her on the ass, and she loves it. She's loving it because she doesn't get that kind of attention.
Okay.
It's really funny.
It's not for me. It's not for me.
Okay. Oh, that's also the episode they find out that Penny was married to Zach. They went to
Oh.
Vegas one night and got drunk.
Oh.
So Zach shows up for
Think that
Thanksgiving
would be cool.
dinner.
Okay.
The really tall,
I
dumb
remember
guy.
she had a dumb old boyfriend.
Yeah, well, they accidentally got married, and she
Oh.
thought it was fake.
Oh,
So
she
they're
didn't
able to get it
realize.
annulled.
Okay.
Oh, man. It's so good. Sheldon heads home to Texas for Christmas because he's
Okay.
hanging out with his new buddy Howard. They make up, and they're good buddies now.
Okay.
So Howard has to go there to give a talk because he's an astronaut. He's always going on about how he's an astronaut. So he takes his best buddy Sheldon with him, and they make a surprise visit to stop in on his mom.
Yeah.
When Sheldon goes up to surprise his mom, he looks in the window, and he's like, oh, gotta get out of here. He sees his mom with, like, the dentist.
I don't know who that is.
No, it's not like, what, his childhood dentist?
Oh.
Anyway, they're on the couch, and let's say the blind shouldn't be open there.
Oh.
And he sees this, and it becomes quite embarrassing for him.
Oh my goodness.
And very, he's very upset. But we get Laurie Metcalf back, who's always great.
What's wrong with the dad at this point? He's dead?
The dad died when he was like 14 or something.
Okay, well, what the heck is wrong with that?
He saw his mother, having
she's
sex.
allowed to have a new person in her life.
Yeah, well, not according to Sheldon, right?
I guess not.
Penny gets a part on NCIS, but it's cut out.
Dead body?
Yeah, this season she's quit her job and she's focusing solely on acting. So she's kind of like
that's gone so well for so many people.
Yeah, exactly. I think this is the season where she finally, I don't know if by the end she gives it up, but she's like going to do something else. Hold on, let me get here. Sheldon is forced to take vacation time again. This keeps coming up and it's hilarious every time. The guys fail to get Comic-Con tickets, but what happens is Sheldon hangs out with James Earl Jones for the day. He tracks him down, really creepy stalker style.
Right.
Meets up with them at a restaurant, and then they just start hanging out, and they love talking about Star Wars, and then they're just going around having fun. And at the end, they go and play a prank on Carrie Fisher at her door.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so Carrie Fisher comes out the door at the end, and what interesting thing is from the behind the scenes is that episode is the first time that James Earl Jones and Carrie Fisher met in person.
Right. Because he just did the voiceover.
And apparently she was like, Dad! From Star Wars. So that is quite funny. Hold on, let me skip here to the end there. Sheldon freaks out the thought about change from Leonard because Leonard's thinking about moving in with Penny. So Sheldon's freaking out. He doesn't like that. And Amy always wants to move in, and he doesn't want that.
Right. Yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Howard and Bernadette can't get a home care worker to stay because their mom keeps getting rid of them because she's so terrible to deal with. The comic book store burns down.
Oh.
Yeah. Stuart, who's always depressed and everything and making these jokes. He's kind of the Eeyore of the group. Stuart is the Eeyore of the group. He's so sad all the time. Anyway, so he becomes their new care worker, and he loves dealing with Mrs. Wolowitz. So now he's got a new place to stay and a job. Okay?
He was a business owner. He owned his own business before.
Not very well. Anyway, and so what happens because Sheldon can't deal with change, he decides he's going to ride the rails.
He'll be a hobo?
So he goes to the train station.
You got a stick with a bag on it?
No, not that bad, but so he decides he's just going to take the train for a while. And so Leonard and Penny, who go to confront him at the train station, are like, yeah, sure, whatever, have fun. Then we don't have to deal with you for a while. And then they go back to the apartment, and who's there? And she's not happy about this.
The mom.
Amy.
Oh, Amy.
Oh, she was so bad. She starts beating Leonard with her purse. She's like, how could you let him go? Why would you do that? He's my boyfriend.
He's not going to be doing it for long. He likes the comforts of home.
So it's another break in between the seasons. Someone keeps going away in between the season breaks all the time. But there was a lot of good stuff in it. Oh, we see Professor Proton for the second time.
Oh, yes.
This is the last episode I'm going to mention. Because we saw him before, so it's, what's his name? The guy who had his own show there.
Newhart?
Bob Newhart, yes, thank you very much. So Bob Newhart shows up again because Professor Proton died, which is unfortunate. But it's Star Wars.
He's Professor Proton.
Yeah.
Oh, he dies. Oh.
That's his name when he ran a show, right?
Talk about Eeyores. He's an Eeyore.
His name's Arthur. No, he's pretty funny. So it's Star Wars Day. Sheldon's upset, so he keeps dreaming that Bob Newhart is coming to see him as a Force ghost. Okay? So at first he shows up, he's just Professor Proton, and then suddenly he's Obi-Wan, Professor Proton. So he's Bob Newhart dressed up as Obi-Wan with a lightsaber too, And he's playing with the lightsaber. He's like, woo, this is fun.
They should have had Larry, Daryl, and Daryl in there.
Because apparently Bob Newhart didn't know anything about Star Wars before he went on this show.
I see that.
Okay? You know, it's nerd culture. I guess Bob Newhart's not into that kind of stuff. I think he's still alive, too. Bob Newhart?
Last time I saw him, he was in that Magician show.
Yeah. Let's hope he
Not
keeps
Magician,
living for a long time now.
The Librarian, sorry.
So, this was another classic season of The Big Bang Theory. Season 7, it actually has, I believe it has 100% review for this season. Now, that doesn't mean like every episode's perfect, but you have to take it with a grain of salt. Season 7 does have 100% critic rating.
That doesn't make sense. Like other seasons have 87%,
no,
67%.
As I was explaining before, what happens is when critics review a TV show, they're sent the first few episodes early. And so I don't know how many episodes they would get out of the 24. Maybe they got like the first 5 or the first 10. They watch them and then they're like, this is amazing. And if they say those 5 episodes are amazing, doesn't matter if the rest of the episodes are trash because they already put in their review.
Oh, okay.
That's why we get weird ratings for like all those Disney Plus shows, because the first 2 episodes are good and then it just kind of goes down from there, you know? So I'm always having fun with this and I'm going to try and keep going through it. It's just going to take a while. But that was another segment of Big Bangin' Reviews. Thanks for joining us. You can always give us the thumbs up on that and subscribe for more content.
She's just loving life here.
Take care. Anyway. Now we're going back into the DCEU for part 11.
Okay, well this is a different
We watched Peacemaker.
This is a television show.
This is canon.
Everything else we've watched has been a movie.
This is an HBO Max original series, but it's after they did the Suicide Squad, James Gunn wanted to do this Peacemaker show. So they said, okay, let's do it. Because Suicide Squad was really good, but no one went to go see it. Didn't find an audience. However, this show at the time, became the biggest show in the world. Okay? So this was a huge hit for Warner Brothers.
James Gunn, the Suicide Squad. It's very similar.
Yeah, and it continues on the story for this character, Peacemaker, played by John Cena. So it's an 8 episodes. The first season is 8 episodes, and they're less than an hour. So I found that was pretty good length. It currently has a 94% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes and an 89% audience score. So people are loving this.
I think the 89 is low. Listen, it's not for kids though, and it is violent. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. So we're going to spoil this as we do for all our stuff.
Okay. Well, we don't need to talk about everything that happens in it, but I think it was great. It's really funny. It's got a lot going on. There's mystery to it, and it's really stupid.
The opening sequence? People really love that.
Yeah, I rewatched it every time. I love Eagly. He's my favorite.
People liked Eagly. Also, who does the voice for Eagly is D. Bradley Baker, and he's all the clones in the Star Wars animated shows.
Oh, yeah.
He does all the clones, including all of the Bad Batch.
Eagly doesn't talk. He just hugs.
Peacemaker's in it. He's exactly as how he was in the Suicide Squad. He's douchebag Captain America. But it's interesting, he feels really bad because, spoilers, in the Suicide Squad, he kills Rick Flag.
Yeah.
And now he feels really bad about it.
He's not like that other guy that was douchebag.
So he's conflicted.
You're thinking, like, when Captain America, that other guy comes in and tries to speak.
John Walker.
He is a douchebag. No, this is a different thing.
Yeah, this is a different thing. But also very similar to something else that we're watching recently, Secret Invasion.
Similar story, but I think this one's doing it in a different way. It's funny.
It's taking a wacky, ridiculous, over-the-top comic book story of alien butterflies from space, and they're invading, and they're taking over.
Let's not say everything, but they take over your brain.
This is spoilers, and this is for our Into the DCU things. We gotta talk about this as much as possible.
People might not have seen it. Okay? I think it's just really funny, and it's
ridiculous, but they do it in such a way that it's scary at times, but also it's ridiculously funny. Because James Gunn likes to put lots of humor in his stuff, and that's how you can have a wacky, ridiculous story. If you had this without the humor, you'd be like, this is nonsense. But when you have lots of humor,
of the DC stuff.
But when you put in lots of humor and you're laughing constantly, you can get away with so much. Okay? You can get away with this. I mean, the first episode, he's in a fight he's in his tighty whities again because John Cena loves to run around in his tighty whities. He's a bodybuilder. They want people to look at him.
Pants.
So he's running around in his tighty whities and he's fighting this alien chick. Remember that? And then she turns out to be a butterfly, but he doesn't know that.
Cheetah. I was like, this is what Cheetah should have looked like. That's what Cheetah should have looked like.
I would
because that was what the 80s people look like. This is an 80s person, but now
they did that for the first Cheetah encounter.
That should have been what Cheetah looked like anyway.
So John Cena's in this race. He's constantly cracking jokes. He's got a douchebag father played by Robert Patrick.
Yeah.
Who's great. He's just this old, angry, racist.
Terrible.
Okay, fascist. And he's got another old guy who's his neighbor who you think is a dick, but now you think it makes sense.
They could have done more with the neighbor.
Listen,
it's funny.
Yeah, they could have. He was in the opening sequence.
Yeah.
But if your neighbor was a hardcore right-wing fascist racist like this guy, I'd probably be a dick to him and anyone going there too. They
could have done more with it. The neighbor could have been a black guy.
He was so bad with the cop, with the Asian cop.
He was just bad overall. He's terrible.
Man.
So.
But I like that they put that in here because it shows this is terrible and it's not acceptable behavior. Yeah. And guess what? He's the villain, right? He's the villain. So if don't act like this, right? Anyway, we always encourage people to leave comments, but if you're going to leave some racist or hate speech comment, don't bother because I don't want to hear it. You keep that to yourself.
Yeah, well, I think it's great because Adebayo talks about it and how she feels about it.
Adebayo, played by Danielle Brooks, so she ends up being Waller's daughter. And we get Waller in this.
Yeah, we do, a little bit.
Viola Davis shows up.
She's not like a main character in it. Anyway, it's fun, it's funny, it's on that line of The Boys again. It's violent. It's not for kids, but it is really funny.
A lot of great jokes in this.
It's not as bad as The Boys. The Boys is kind of over the top for me sometimes. I don't care for that. So this one was more.
But this is great storytelling. If you have HBO or Max as they call it now, I would check out Peacemaker. You don't even have to see anything before it. It explains everything.
Yeah. Okay? And if you like Eagles, you'll really like it.
Oh, yeah. Eagly is great. Now we get the High Evolutionary himself. I can't pronounce his name. Chakotay Iwuji plays Myrn.
He was a great casting for that because he is kind of a mysterious looking fella.
Yeah, so he plays an alien.
Yeah, well, you're giving it all away.
He's in charge of it. This is a spoiler review. Economist, played by Steve Agee.
He's funny.
He's really fun. And it's such a ragtag team. I don't know how these people got involved with this and they're working for Amanda Waller.
I love Vigilante too. He's so weird.
Yeah, Freddie Stroma. He is hilarious.
And he really lightens it up when it gets heavier. Yeah. He's such
dumb.
A doofus.
So dumb, but he doesn't care. He's like, okay, I'll kill that person. Why not?
Yeah, he's a doofus. But anyway, I thought it was enjoyable. It's fun, and I wish more TV shows were like this because this is what they're missing is the humor.
And it's labeled as a comedy, which it is. Yeah. The fact that it's superheroes, and there's 2 great cameos at the end. I'm not going to spoil them, but we get 2 of the Justice League members show up.
Yeah, and see, that's the thing.
4 Justice League members show up, but we only see 2 of them. The rest, we just see the silhouettes.
In my
mind, the other 2 aren't there at all.
This is what's wrong with those movies, is that they're way too cool for school. And they're not in reality.
Yeah.
And it's boring.
Yeah, and here, they're making fun of it.
It's more real what would happen, and it just makes more sense.
You got people...
And the people are more human.
I mean, you got Peacemaker and Vigilante walking around in their ridiculous costumes, and Judo Master. That small guy, man, that guy's a badass, and he's always eating the flaming Cheetos.
I like to see more at the end. I was hoping we'd see more of him at the end.
I liked how there's at one point.
I was hoping he was gonna join them.
No, he's not.
Anyway,
he's walking around this ridiculous outfit, and these 2 kids mouth off to him because if you saw someone wearing that, obviously kids would say something to him, right? And then when they came out, he beat the crap out of them. You got some righteous justice there. You knew those kids were going to get it.
Anyway, it's just funny. And
oh, man.
It's more realistic. Because superheroes are they're not. No one can be perfect, and perfect is boring, and that's what this show is.
So
not.
every time they do something in it that's like comic book wacky, they make fun of it.
Right.
So here's Judo Master. Well, let's make fun of him. And also he's constantly eating Cheetos, which is hilarious. It becomes a running gag. Flaming hot Cheetos. Yeah. I'm guessing he needs the calories.
No, he just likes them.
Okay, I still think he needs the calories.
He'd be eating lots of chocolate and stuff.
I mean, Peacemaker in his ridiculous outfit, and he has to walk around in that all the time, especially when he leaves the hospital. Robert Patrick is in this ridiculous...
And his hair, it's so funny.
Super villain outfit.
When I
He's
saw
the White Dragon.
I said, he looks like a Garbage Pail Kid. And then 10 minutes later or something, they do reference Garbage Pail Kids.
Yeah.
In the show, I think that's what they were trying to pull off. That's what it was.
That's not a coincidence.
That was my guess.
I don't know Garbage Pail Kids, so I missed that one.
You don't know Garbage Pail Kids?
Not really.
That's what he looks like, a Garbage Pail Kid.
So, I don't know what White Dragon is from the comics, but when you hear the term White Dragon, I'm like, yeah, that guy sounds like a racist. So they made him into a racist, and he's got all these racist followers.
Oh,
they're all
dumb.
just these fascists.
I think they could have been even dumber. I think
they wear those white hoods.
But they got ears on them.
Yeah, so
like
that's remember in the US all those vagina hats that they had there?
No.
Because everyone was upset with Trump and everything.
No.
Anyway, so I think it's supposed to look like that.
No, they're supposed to have the horns because he has the horns on his.
Yeah, but it looks similar to something else, which is the joke you just don't know about because you weren't up to date on that pop culture reference.
Anyway, I think they could have made them even more doofusy, but still, they're a little bit too serious, if you ask me.
They're just constantly making mistakes. It's just like the staff in the Suicide Squad. You just throw in lots of incompetence because they're civil servants, right?
Well, these guys are giving it their 100%. They're not really incompetent. They're just not given much.
But they still make mistakes, and you throw that in, and it's hilarious. Okay? Where Vigilante's trying to get away, but he's got all these helmets, so they're tracking him with it. And the raccoon...
Well, he's just stunned.
I
called that, too. I called it on the raccoon.
At one point, Robert Patrick and his fascist KKK goons are tracking his helmet, and it just keeps going all over the forest.
That's what I said. I bet you they put it on a raccoon.
Which they did. And then we see Peacemaker later on. He's like, man, those raccoons are vicious. He's just covered in scratches because he had to wrestle the raccoon.
He's like a little bit injured, but he's not really injured until he comes upon the raccoon. I wish we would have seen a little bit of that fur flying or something. That would have been hilarious. That's why, and they missed opportunity there.
You know what? They probably just had to cut it down for time.
Maybe.
Okay.
But he looked the most injured. Like, he was beaten up with all these people and having all these fights, but the raccoon really did him in.
What about, you know what was funny? They did a torture scene, and it was absolutely hilarious. Okay? Where the bad guy he wants information on Peacemaker, so instead of torturing Peacemaker, he tortures Vigilante, and Peacemaker's like, I don't care. You do as much torture as you want. I'm never going to crack, okay? Meanwhile, Vigilante almost gets his toe cut off.
Almost.
And he's getting his balls shocked. Because they hooked up jumper cables to him.
Anyway, it's just crazy. It's funny. I would watch it, but it's not for kids. Anyway.
So much good stuff in this.
I enjoyed it. I thought it was real fun.
And the cameos that they did, they made sense. They weren't just thrown in there for fan service.
No, the whole thing made sense. It was like a normal show.
When the Justice League shows up, there's a reason why they show up, but they show up late. So he's like, "You're late, you." He drops a few F-bombs, but he's like, "You're late, effers."
I don't want to
swear too much on the show.
As the Flash, it didn't even look like him. Was it supposed to be Ezra Miller?
Oh, it was him.
Oh, was it? Didn't look like him. Could have been anybody.
Yeah.
I was wondering
if
they
ruined one of the cameos then.
Well, you just said the Justice League shows up.
Yeah, 4 members of the Justice League.
Anyway, well, I don't think anyone cared that it was Ezra Miller or not. Anyway,
he ain't gonna be the Flash anymore.
It's funny, it's fun. It's what a lot of these DC movies are completely lacking.
You throw this stuff in here, and all these DC movies would be great because it's such a fun time. But you could also make it more for kids as well, so that kids can enjoy it instead of having all this violence and nudity and
it could have been
very adult language.
That's what it's like on the boys kind of level, although The Boys is
Almost.
worse.
Yeah, The Boys is way more
Didn't have to
higher
have to
up
go
there.
there, but they don't care. They're HBO. They like to do that.
What kind of rating would you give this?
Oh, this one I give it like a 96.
96?
I like this one.
I give this a best movie ever. Definitely.
It's not a movie. It's a show.
Sorry, this show. Anyway, it's
this is their show. I mean, if they would only have gotten James Gunn to work on some of these other properties.
It's part of the canon for the DCEU. So
doesn't mean much to me because they changed.
So you really enjoyed it. Was it better than Shazam for you?
No, I like Shazam because it's a movie. Remember, this is a show.
Was this better than the Suicide Squad?
They're the same.
So would you rank Peacemaker higher or lower than that?
It's the same in my mind.
But you got to pick one.
No, I don't pick one. It's a show. It's not a movie. I think that it's on the same as it's not the Suicide Squad. Get it right too. James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, because there's another Suicide Squad movie that's terrible.
It's a bad movie, but we had fun with it. Okay. Anyway, if you enjoyed this segment, give us a thumbs up, please. That would always help us out. And our contact information is down in the description below. So that was part 11 of Into the DCEU. Now, it's time for another exciting episode of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway. Okay. I know you love these segments. So this is Season 2, Episode 11. It's called Maneuvers, which is a bad title. In fact, after watching this episode, I'm like, yeah, that's still a bad title, because it's just maneuvers, right? Yeah. There aren't exactly a lot of maneuvers in this. So, this is, the plot thickens now. Because this is like, we get stuff from the last season. So, it's connecting to stuff from the last season. So, what happens is, the Voyager crew, they're flying along. So, first off, I'll let you know, we don't see Cass or the Doctor in this episode. Oh. Okay? So, not important at all. They can just piss off. Okay? We do see Neelix for like one line. Okay?
Oh, that's good.
So, this episode is all about the Starfleet crew.
Right.
Now, it's definitely an ensemble one, but if there was one person that focused on it, and it doesn't really, it would be Chakotay. He gets the most of this.
Like this
him and no, not because I like him, but because it has to do with him and storylines for him.
Okay.
But Janeway's in it a lot too. So what it is, they're flying along, and, you know, Harry Kim's like, Captain, I'm detecting a signal out in space from a probe.
Oh no.
Okay. Who cares? But it's a Federation symbol. What? Tuvok, check this out. So Tuvok's he's using his security computer there. He's like, yep, this is a Federation code. But it's a code from about a month after they got sent to the Delta Quadrant.
Right. Well,
so
they can send probes far, just not people.
Yeah, but it's not one of their probes.
Oh.
So it's a Starfleet signal that they're getting. I don't think it's an actual probe. So they're like, okay, set a course. Let's check it out.
Yeah.
Okay, so
going
they got
towards the danger.
Why is this? Oh, it's in a nebula. It's coming from.
Oh no!
So what do? Stop! Stop!
They didn't fly in
Stop!
This time.
We're not going into the nebula.
They finally learned that lesson.
They finally learned that. Okay. Tuvok, send out the Janeway with her big hair as usual. Tuvok, engage the tractor beam and just pull it out.
Oh, they're gonna bring it out of the ship now.
Bring it? No, they're not gonna bring it on the ship, but they're gonna pull it out of the nebula.
Well, then they learned that.
And Tuvok is also the voice of reason. Finally, he says, maybe we shouldn't bring it on the ship until we know what it is
yet. Look at it first?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they're finally starting to
have probe to the probe?
They don't send a probe, they just engage the tractor beam to pull it out of the nebula so they can see what they're dealing with, right? And then all of a sudden, they're getting fired upon. The nebula's shooting at them.
Oh, the nebula itself.
Yeah, and so what comes out is the Kazon comes out.
Oh, the Kazon.
Big Kazon
that they really made mad.
Yep. So it's their old good buddies, the Kazon, you know. And Janeway's like, okay, maneuver this way, Tom Paris. And throughout the whole episode, she keeps using her badge, and it's like, Janeway to the con, Janeway to the con. And each time it's like, Paris here. And, you know, eventually you get sick of that. Okay, so Janeway to the con. Eventually it's like, Paris, like, you know, I think he would get pissed off. He's like, yeah, I'm still here driving the ship. You keep calling me each time. I haven't gone anywhere. So he's doing his job, apparently, the ex-con. So he's just working this episode. So what happens is the Kazon bust out of this nebula where they were hiding.
Yes.
And it's a surprise attack.
All
they
they
had
should
this
do is
planned
give them
out.
a glass of water. And
So they fire at them
much.
and they use these special tactics. And it's as if they know their tactics. And they know how to get through their shields and everything. So here's what happens. What they do is they fire so that there's going to be an opening in their shield, and then they fly a shuttle, and it goes right through it, and they bust into Voyager.
Right.
And they...
Is it because Casca or whatever is
and they go, and what they do is they steal a transporter module.
Oh.
Like this thing, right?
Targeted hit.
And and then they beam out, right?
Right.
And they mess up the transporter because they took the module. So now they got to replace it, but Janeway is more like, no, we can't let them take off with that module. That's our technology. Okay? It's not
she doesn't want to share anything with those Kazon. That's why she made them so mad in the first place, and she left them thirsty on the planet, even though they had ships that could bring them water.
Her and Chakotay are very loosey-goosey when it comes to the Prime Directive.
Yeah.
Sometimes they follow it, sometimes not so much, right? So...
Or just being nice people sometimes.
So they completely get their asses handed to them there. Okay? Because they know exactly what they're doing. I'm like, I know what this is. And what happens is we get to see the return of Seska.
Seska, that's her name.
So
I can remember her name.
The traitor Seska is back, and she's starting to look. No, she's starting to look more Cardassian. She's not full-on Cardassian makeup yet, but because their technology isn't very good. But she's getting there, right?
Right.
And she looks terrible as a Cardassian. But to me, all the Cardassians look like crap. To me, they don't look good at all. I mean, this actress, I don't know who plays her, but she looks great. But when she's got that Cardassian stuff on...
You didn't like Galdecott?
No! Gross! I'm like, buddy, you should get that checked out there on the sides of your head and in the middle and the nose. I'm like, buddy, you look gross. I guess I'm
what about the tailor?
I guess I'm just xenophobic against these mythological aliens, the Cardassians.
Like that movie. Basically, this moral of the story is everyone is racist.
Yeah. So she's feeding this guy information who's in charge of this sect of the Kazon, because all the Kazon are at war with each other and they don't team up. But he's trying to get them to team up. So.
Against a unified.
So what happens is they do this precision strike, and then they take off, but then they leave a trail for them to follow, and they're like,
breadcrumbs.
Yeah, this doesn't make any sense.
No.
That they did this strike, and they really,
do think
made us look terrible, but then they would leave a trail, so they're like, they want us to follow them, so we're not going to do that. So we're going to go close to them, but not quite there.
Why don't they just keep on going? They still got another 69 years to go to get home.
Yeah, but they're like, no, you can't have this teleporter.
They really hate those Kazons.
So what happens is, while they're figuring out stuff and they find these Kazon floating in space because they got beamed out into space, and they have this whole scene where Neelix shows up a second time and he's like, no, these guys were beamed out into space. Because they were leaders of other Kazon sects.
Oh, they did it on purpose.
And they didn't want to team up. So he just beamed them out into space. He's like, screw you guys.
An airlock.
Like, these guys don't work together. So then they have to call on other Kazon to team up with them. Meanwhile, what happens is, Chakotay is like, this is all my fault. I'm the one who brought Seska into the Maquis. I'm the one that brought her this far, and then she betrayed us, so it's all his fault.
Well, he also brought Tuvok in, too, and Tuvok was a spy.
No, but Tuvok would have been on Voyager anyway.
That worked out good for him in the end.
So he feels bad about it. And also, I forgot to mention, the episode starts with him and B'Elanna. They're playing something on deck. They're playing hoverball, I think they call it.
Okay.
So it's like Star Trek squash, I guess. So they're playing that, but they have to go to the bridge. Because as we've established, whenever the captain wants someone to come talk to them, you gotta come right away. No matter what you're doing. So they have to go in their outfits, to their workout outfits, to the bridge. Because only Janeway gets like half an hour to an hour to get dressed before she gets called somewhere.
Yeah, and do her hair.
Okay? Everyone else has to go right away. So B'Elanna's there because we know B'Elanna secretly is crushing on Chakotay. And she definitely shows that, like, in this episode, not that she's in love with him, but that's like, hey, we got to be nicer to this guy. We got to help and support him. No, don't discipline him, because what he does is, while they're figuring out what to do, he steals a shuttle and takes off without them knowing. She's like, how did this happen? Okay, so she's mad at him. Janeway's mad at him for this. Meanwhile, B'Elanna's like trying to defend him and help him out. Her
father.
Yeah, well, anyway. She's got some kind of crush on him. So he takes the shuttle and then sneaks up on the Kazon ship. He's not cloaked, but he's able to sneak up on them because they got crappy technology. Plus the sensors in this world never work anyway.
No.
So he sneaks up on them, and because he's going to get that teleporter back. Actually, he destroys it.
Oh.
Okay? But then he gets captured.
Oh.
So they got to go after him, right? So they're going after him. They're getting fired upon by all these Kazon ships, and they're trying to beam him back. B'Elanna is, but she can't get it right because Seska keeps, changing the phase harmonics of their shield, so they can't beam up. So instead, they're like, okay, screw that. So instead, they beam the leaders of the Kazon ships into the teleporter room, and they are all armed, but their weapons have been miraculously deactivated by the teleporter.
Oh.
When did that happen? I don't remember that. And Tuvok and one security guard stand there like, yeah, you guys are screwed. So either give us back our commander, or you guys are dead. So anyway, they're probably gonna make him prisoner. So anyway, so they get Chakotay back.
Nice with them.
And Seska is she doesn't really have power where she is. She's just kind of manipulating these guys.
Yeah.
And they do treat her like crap because she's a woman and she's an alien, and they don't respect that. So she doesn't exactly not exactly in the best place.
No.
But then at the end, she sends a message to Chakotay, and Chakotay's in the middle of talking to Janeway in her office there. She's like, and so as they walk onto the bridge, we got this message. You want to take it in my ready room? He's like, no, I'm sick of having to deal with her one-on-one. Just put it on the screen. Everyone can see it. I don't care.
Right.
And it's this message from her, and she's just continuing to taunt him because she's been doing this all episode, right? Taunting this guy. And now she's like, well, while you were captive and asleep, as Cleveland Brown would say, she stole his essence. So now she's like, by the way, just letting you know, now I'm pregnant with your child.
Oh, jeez.
So she was doing some stuff to him while he was out. So now she's pregnant with his child because she's still kind of obsessed with him. And then they go off, and we're like, what the?
Gross. That really took a turn.
Anyway, and Janeway's pissed off at him because he was insubordinate and stole a shuttle, which I don't even know if they got that back. I'm guessing they did, because...
We really don't have many.
Yeah,
anyway.
They don't have ones to spare, and she's pissed off with him, but she doesn't really discipline him or anything. And
they have to all get along.
Yeah, well, they
got 69 years to go.
I guess.
They don't stop.
Well, it's only been, they keep saying it's only been like 10 or 11 months since they got stuck there.
Keep on getting sidetracked.
Yeah. But I think they're actually trying to go through this in real time. So it's like, it's only been 10 months because it was January that we got stuck out here, and now it's only, October. Anyway, that was another exciting episode of Chakotay's Odyssey, featuring the adventures of Janeway.
Thank you.
Go ahead and give us a thumbs up if you enjoyed that video. We're going to go into some comments. Do you want to tell people how they can get in touch with us on social media and online?
So cute.
Yes, you are.
They can find us. They can email us, CanadaMovieTVHosers@gmail.com. Submit topics for us or just say hello. You can find us on Twitter at Canada Hosers. You can also find Gregory on Twitter at St. John's Critic. And you can use the hashtag Canada Hosers to contact the show, although it sounds like no one has, but you can.
On Twitter and Instagram.
Oh, and Instagram as well.
Yeah, mostly that's where...
That works.
I've been posting on both because I don't know, I think Twitter is slowly dying. More people are on Twitter. Instagram.
I'm obsessed with Instagram. I gotta stop. It's keeping me up
All
late
our contact information is below if you want to get in touch with us, or you can just leave a comment on any of our videos or segments. So we got a couple of viewer comments, so Always great to hear from people.
Yeah.
Chris Meeks 3778 commented on our last episode, and he said, "Okay, I like your concept. Thanks, buddy. However, you need to get some good mics and get them as close to each of you as possible. That way you won't have all that room reverberation. Been in audio for a long time will make a huge difference in your sound quality." So one, thank you very much there, Chris. Appreciate the comment. And yeah, you're absolutely right. We need to improve the audio quality. I'm always trying to improve the show. Just right now, I don't have the money to buy that stuff. But as soon as we can, we're going to get some mics so that it'll improve our sound quality. And then eventually we'll get better cameras and everything. We're just slowly building up the show. But thank you very much for your comment and your advice. I appreciate that.
I wish we had some better stuff. We are in a relatively small room, so hopefully that helps a little bit. But I'm sorry if you can't hear us properly.
I don't know anything about this stuff, so I'm still... Now, we also... Actually, I got a message on Twitter, so some people are still using it, from Kelly Zindistigyorgi. Sorry, I'm butchering that.
Butcher that one.
Sounds Slavic to me. But she was retweeting some of our stuff about your strange... Yeah, it could be. So, Kelly was replying to some of our stuff about some of my tweets on the Strange New Worlds and your review of that first episode for season 2. And I replied back, said, "Hope you're enjoying the new season." And she said, "Oh, yes, indeed. Awesome, wonderful, fantastic episode. Best wishes." So thank you very much for that nice message there. Appreciate it.
Or he didn't say why they think it's like the old series. I've been trying to study it. The aesthetic is a lot like the old series, but it's obviously not, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we do have some of the characters that are the same. That the way the episodes go is similar, but it's you could say that, I guess, a little bit about the other series, but there is something special about this one that makes it...
People are enjoying it.
I'm enjoying it a lot. I really like this last one.
So thanks for all the people who sent us in messages, and anyone else, feel free to leave a message down below or contact us on social media, which is in the description below. So from all three of us, especially Fluffy Kitty here, thank you very much for watching. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Take care.
Bye.